I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, putting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! Need some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the show. Here comes the Ghetto Blasters. What's a Ghetto Blaster? Dean, I got your Cashapp. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Dean sent me some money for a good job at the debate. I appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Let me open up this folder. I wanted to play the intro because even though it's going to get me a little copyright claim, I don't really care. Wanted to play the intro because we needed some music to get started. We need a little music here. Let me find my folders, which should already be open. I'm not being very professional. We got some stuff to talk about today. I got a new notebook to add to my stack of notebooks. All right, it's Men's History Month, guys. Started by the great JLP. So, Men's History Month. Open all in new window. Yeah, let's do that. So, we got to celebrate a great man in history for Men's History Month. Waiting for some peppers to grow. Nice. All right, so you know who? We got Men's History Month. We're going to celebrate a great man in history. We got a lot of Kamala news. I forgot to title this stream, actually. I just realized that when I was starting it up. I need to put a title on it. I put 118. I just didn't put a title. Weird Kamala. What the heck? Hold on, I'm having issues with my second monitor here. Weird Kamala. Weird Olympics. Weird UK. UK. Weird CIA. Weird Kamala, Weird Olympics, Weird UK, Weird CIA. That's the title of this episode. Everything's weird, guys. Everything's weird. I learned this from the Democrats. All right, so we got Men's History Month. Kamala calling people weird. Debate stuff relating to the Trump-Kamala debate. What's going on with that? Her VP pick. Unless it got announced while I was sleeping, it has not been announced yet, but I think we're pretty sure we know who it is. And then Olympic madness, more Olympic weirdness, weird stuff at the Olympics. Apparently, men are boxing in the Olympics. We got a grapist playing volleyball. He likes to play with balls. We'll talk about all the weird, disgusting, degenerate crap going on at the Paris Olympics. As if it wasn't enough that they were worshiping Satan in their opening ceremony. And then UK riots. We've got riots and unrest and civil unrest all over UK because everybody's stabbing kids. A bunch of kids getting stabbed up. Now, we'll talk about all that. They're stabbing up kids over there, and people are sick of it. People are tired. And then memes, reels. We'll do some Israel, Iran, Hamas updates during the rapid fire segment. And to wrap up, I didn't have any good stuff to talk about on the last hour. So I just went into my files, some old files that we haven't talked about that I looked at a long time ago. A while ago, we were talking about the Ash conformity experiments and Operation Mockingbird. So we'll talk about that stuff. We've talked about monarch mind control before. We've talked about subliminal messaging, MK Ultra. So today we'll talk about, and I don't really know how the Ash conformity experiments relate to Operation Mockingbird. Somebody said that they do, so I grabbed that too, and we'll take a look at that. And we'll just talk about some weird mind control. Everything's weird today. We're going to be super weird. That's the goal for today. But first, to start us off, what up, Stubble One? What up, C-Sal? First, to start us off, we got to celebrate a great man in history. And today, who we're going with is Mel Gibson. Let's freaking go. Mel Gibson. He's been in great movies such as The Passion of the Christ, Braveheart, Mad Max, Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's only 4 of them. What Women Want. You know, if you're a chick and you like chick flicks. Signs was great. Apocalypto. The Patriot. Another Mad Max movie. Another Mad Max movie. What else? What else? What else? Pocahontas. Did he play a voice in Pocahontas? Flight Risk. I don't know if I've seen that one. We Were Soldiers. That movie was epic. Father Stew. I didn't know Mel Gibson was in Father Stew. Father Stew's a really sad movie. If you want to see a sad movie, a tearjerker, Father Stew's a good movie. What else? Forever Young. I don't think I've seen that one. Payback was good. Ransom was good. He says he was in Daddy's Home 1 and 2. Oh, yeah, he's the dad in Daddy's Home. Oh, yeah. Maverick. That's a great movie. Get the Gringo. He's been in a bunch of movies on Netflix lately, too. Force of Nature. The Beaver. I don't even know what that is. Mel Gibson. He's had some controversy. Hold on. Let me pull up his Wikipedia, see what they talking about. Actually, we'll pull up his IMDb. Mel Gibson. Mel Columcille Gerard Gibson was born January 3rd, 1956 in Peaksville, New York, USA, as the 6th of 11 children of Hunting Gibson. Well, thank God for Hunting Gibson. That man was pushing out, making some babies. A railroad brakeman, and Anne Patricia Gibson, who died in December of 1990. His mother was Irish from County Longford, while his American-born father is of mostly Irish descent. You know what movie I didn't list in that whole list? Why is that movie not in the list of movies? His best movie. One of my favorite movies. Conspiracy Theory. Speaking of conspiracy theories, we talk about them all the time on this show. Mel Gibson. He's had some controversy, you know. He's had his phone calls recorded saying some inappropriate words that I guess you're not supposed to say. You know, I'm sure Buff would probably call him racist. If he thinks Hulk Hogan's racist, he probably thinks Mel Gibson's racist too. But he's not. He's awesome. He's a great man. Conspiracy Theory isn't even on this list. Is it really not on the list? It's not on the list. Oh, there it is. Okay, it is on there. Julia Roberts. conspiracy theory. The Beaver was a weird movie. He gets a head injury and ends up walking around with a beaver hand puppet that he can hear talking to him. Maybe I did see that. 2011? What about Fat Man? What is Fat Man about? Looks like he's like a snow mountain guy. Looks like a horror movie, maybe. He's got a gun and he's walking through the snow. Fat Man? Never heard of this one either. Dude, he's in a ton of movies. That Hamlet. Like a lot of these movies I haven't heard of. So shout out Mel Gibson, one of the greatest actors ever. Probably the best actor ever. Probably the best. Let me see if producing, directing, Mad Max series. Look, Braveheart, bro. Where's the controversy? I'm sure Wikipedia. Religious and political views. He's a Sedevacanist. I don't know what that is. Traditionalist Catholic. Second Vatican Council, and hold that Holy See is currently vacant. His father was his father, Hunter Gibson, was an ardent Sedevacanist and a Holocaust denier who held strong anti-Semitic views and supported various conspiracy theories. So that's where he got it from. Maybe the movie's based on his dad. Let's go. During the filming of The Passion of the Christ, he had daily visits from both local priests and priests from the Traditionalist Institute of Christ the King, a what is Sedevacanist? Sedevacanist group in full communion with the Pope in France. When asked about the Catholic doctrine of extra ecclesia nulla salus, Gibson replied, "There is no salvation for those outside of the church. I believe it. Put it this way. My wife is a saint. She's a much better person than I am. Honestly, she's Episcopalian Church of England. She prays, she believes in God, she knows Jesus, she believes in that stuff. And it's just not fair if she doesn't make it. She's better than I am. But that is a pronouncement from the chair. I go with it." Hey, she needs to convert. Can't be having a wife. Anyway, don't forget Ransom. I think I said Ransom. I'm trying to find his controversy. Alcohol abuse and legal issues. He started drinking at the age of 13. Nice. You got to get practice early. You're not an alcoholic, you're a professional. He was banned from driving in Ontario, Canada. Let's go. And rear-ended a car in Toronto while under the influence of alcohol. That's not so base, but getting banned from driving in Canada is pretty cool. Misdemeanor drunk driving charge. Controversies. Here we go. The Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation accused Gibson of homophobia based after an interview with a Spanish newspaper where he made derogatory comments about gay people. He later defended his comments and rejected calls to apologize. Based. Nice. Even faced fresh accusations of homophobia in the wake of his film Braveheart. Gibson joined GLAAD in hosting 10 lesbian and gay filmmakers for an on-location seminar on the set of the movie Conspiracy Theory in 1997. When asked about comments in El Paris, he said, "I shouldn't have said it, but I was tickling a bit of vodka during that interview, and the quote came back to me on the ass." Okay. Well, so he kind of apologized for it, but then he puts him in a movie called Conspiracy Theory, which is based on his Holocaust denying father, I guess. What? That's not, I don't know if that's the movie they want to be associated with, but that could just be an epic chess move there. Let's see. He got another DUI later on. He told the arresting officer, "My life is over. I'm fucked. Robin's going to leave me." Shit. Whoa. And what Vanity Fair was later told was an attempted suicide by a cop. Gibson said to the arresting officer, effing Jews. The Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world. Are you a Jew? What? Bro. Anyway, he got, let's see, barred from coming near Gravoria due to a domestic violence related restraining order, recovery program to battle alcoholism, something about Diane Sawyer, blacklisted in Hollywood for almost a decade. Both Robert Downey Jr. and journalist Allison Hope Weiner advocated for forgiveness of him in 2014. In 2016, his film Hacksaw Ridge, which received 6 Academy Award nominations, resulted in what was perceived as a thaw in his reputation. Let's see. Braveheart had 10 Academy Award nominations, 5 wins, 4 Golden Globe nominations, and 1 win. Passion of the Christ had 3 Academy Award nominations. Apocalypto had 3 Academy Award nominations, 1 BAFTA Award nomination, and 1 Golden Globe nomination. No wins. Hacksaw Ridge had 6 nominations, 2 wins for Academy Awards, 5 BAFTA Awards, 1 win, 5 nominations, 1 win, 3 Golden Globe nominations. In total, he's had 22 Academy Award nominations, 7 wins, 13 BAFTA Award nominations, 4 wins, 8 Golden Globe nominations, and 1 win. Happy Men's History Month. Shout out Mel. We love Mel around here. So that's that. That's enough of that. Let's get into the news. Let's talk about freaking Kamala for a while. So apparently the new punchline, I guess you would say, for the Democrats towards Trump and JD Vance is to just call them weird. So let me see if I can just pull up my short that I made today. They're calling them weird. They're calling us weird. The Democrats, of all people, of all the people to call somebody weird, they are calling us weird. Really? Really? That's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. If you really think about it, them calling us weird? Why would they do such a thing? Don't they know they're the weirdest people ever? Okay. Shorts. Let's watch this little short.
You guys are just weird. That's where they are.
Weirdest thing, hell.
You can't see it. The weirdest thing, huh? This guy's a dang idiot. Why am I so low? Do I need to raise up a little bit? Raise up! Take the shirt off! Put the brown in. That's better. That's better. Jeez. I look like a midget. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but alright. Check this out. Just a little quick short. They're calling them weird.
That's where they are.
Weirdest thing, he'll go and like literally hug an American flag. Now I love the flag, but I mean it's like weird what he does.
On the other side, they're just weird. I mean,
Kamala Harris says we're weird. Let's talk about some things that are weird. We think it's weird that Democrats want to put sexually explicit books in toddlers' libraries. We think it's weird that the far left wants to allow biological males to beat the living crap out of women in boxing. We think it's weird for a presidential candidate to bail convicted rapists and murderers out of prison, and that's what Kamala Harris did.
So I just think part of what makes America great is that we don't dismiss ideas based on being weird. And
All right, so they're calling everybody weird. Oh, you guys, hold on. Let me fix this real quick. Turn this on. There you go. Okay. So from AP, we have an article from AP here. Why Harris and Democrats keep calling Trump and Vance weird. Like, that's the new roast. That's the new roast. When I was in jail, when I was like 18, I had this, I had a cellmate, big old dude. And we would just do push-ups and sit-ups and handstand push-ups and curls on the bars and curls with books and water bath. All we did was work out all day. I came out and everybody was like, damn, what happened to you? Well, I had a cellmate and we got locked down at one point for making alcohol. So we were locked in our cell 23-1. And he was like a bodybuilder. So we would just work out all day. And but anyway, point of the story is he was a big dude. And so I wouldn't like disrespect this guy. It would not be smart of me to disrespect this guy. And if I ever said that's weird or something is weird, he would like give me a dirty look and he'd be like, stop saying that. And by the end, I stopped saying it. And it was actually good advice because it's bad grammar to just say, that's weird. That's weird. Oh, that's weird. That's weird. That's crazy. That's weird. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's weird. If you say that's weird all the time, you might be kind of retarded because you need to expand your vocabulary. You need to be more descriptive. It's not weird. Like one day there was a commercial that came on and I was like, that commercial was weird. And he's like, what does that even mean? Are you saying was it a bad commercial? Was it an unusual? What was weird about it? What does that even mean? That doesn't tell us anything. He's like, use your words, Josh. Talk like a grown-up. You don't just say, that's weird. That's weird. That's weird. He's like, I had a little kid. He had a kid. He's like, when my son was a child, he would just walk around and say everything was weird. He's like, you're a grown-up. Talk like a grown-up. Don't just say that's weird. That's weird. That's weird. So I thought of that because now Kamala and the Democrats are proving to be kind of retarded. They're kind of retarded. Where in Florida? Yeah, that was in Florida. You guys are weird, says the man wearing makeup and women's clothes on the way to the library to read to children. Exactly. As soon as they started with this crap, all the memes started flowing. I saw the memes before I even heard the stories that they were calling Trump and JD Vance weird. And Pierce Morgan had a collage. I should have just clipped his collage. You know, let his production team do the work for me. But it was like every media station, the Mockingbird media that we're going to talk about later, Operation Mockingbird, all over the media. They were all saying, weird, weird, weird. Trump's weird. JD Vance is weird. He's weird. That's weird, 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 weird. and the memes started flowing. And we got some of them later in the show during meantime. But, yeah, the Democrats who have Rachel Levine, the fat person who doesn't know what gender they are, as a health inspector. That's kind of weird. How about their luggage stealing, bald, transgender, puppy play, bestiality, whatever the heck that guy does. I don't even know what that guy does in office. That guy's pretty weird. How about the fact that our travel our travel guy Pete Buttigieg, he's kind of weird. He's a little gay. He's a little, queer is actually synonymous with weird. So strange, weird, queer, but queer also means gay. Gay also means happy, but gay also means you like to do stuff. You like to diddle booty holes, but so that's kind of weird. How about the fact that Kamala's family owned like 120 slaves and she's not actually black, but she claims to be black? That's kind of weird. Don't you think that's a little weird? So let's read this real quick and then we'll move on. Vice President Kamala Harris and her Democratic allies are emphasizing a new line of criticism against Republicans, branding Donald Trump and his running mate, Ohio Senator JD Vance, as weird. Weird, which is something low IQ, bad vocabulary people use. It's a word children use. It's not a good word. It's not a good descriptor. It doesn't really explain anything. It's something little kids run around and say, that's weird. Dad, that's weird. Mom, that's weird. Isn't that weird, Dad? Don't say weird. People try to take that word out of your vocabulary, especially now that it's Democrats' favorite word. Let them look like dummies. Let's speak like adults. Okay, can we try that? So if I ever say that's weird, I want you guys to correct me. I want you to be like, Josh, you sound like a damn Democrat. Stop saying that. Okay. Democrats are applying the label with gusto in interviews and online, notably in Vance's comments on abortion and his previous suggestion that political leaders who didn't have biological children don't really have a direct stake in the country. Based, the weird message appears to have given Democrats a narrative advantage. The weird message appears to have given Democrats a narrative advantage that they rarely had when President Joe Biden was still running the election. So wait, just because they start calling people weird, they have a narrative advantage? Trump's campaign, which so often shapes political discussions with the former president's pronouncements, has spent days trying to flip the script by highlighting things that Democrats, it says, are weird. I don't know who came up with the message. I don't know who... Oh, wait. That's not Trump talking. Never mind. David Karpf. I don't know who came up with the message, but I salute them, said David Karpf, a strategic communication professor at George Washington University, for coming up with the word weird. You're a strategic communication professor at George Washington University, and you salute them for coming up with the word weird? Is the whole world going fucking crazy? Is everybody retarded? I'm sick of it. God. What the... Oh, man. Bro, all these Democrats and all these media people, they all need to get locked up with Wayne. Yeah, his name was Wayne. They need to get locked up in jail with Wayne, because Wayne will smack the shit out of you if you say weird too many times. Wayne does not play. Wayne would be like, hey, stop saying weird, or I'm going to smack the crap out of you. We need to lock Kamala up with damn Wayne. Put him on 23-1. She's going to come out buff, and she's not going to be saying weird anymore. Karp says labeling Republican comments as weird is the sort of concise take that resonates quickly with Harris supporters. Yeah, well, that's because they're all like below 70 IQ. Plus, Karp noted, it frustrates opponents, leading them to further amplify it through off-balance responses. This is so dumb. This is so dumb. So now we're going to have people voting because of the word weird. This is ridiculous. Okay, enough of that crap. I'm not going to read this whole article. You guys wrote a really long article, AP, about the word weird. Now I have an article from Daily Beast, which I didn't know if this was real or fake at first, but I thought it was funny. It is actually fake. So just throwing that out there. This is parody, but it says, Kamala Harris questions for Veep candidates revealed. So it says, we all know the smart and dumb choices politicians have made over the decade. Two of the most brilliant choices were JFK choosing LBJ to help win in Texas in 1960, and Abe Lincoln deciding to wear the stovepipe hat to the Gettysburg Address instead of a hoodie. And history is rife with bad choices politicians have made. John Edwards celebrating condom-free Wednesday, Dan Quayle not using spell check, Lincoln deciding to accept those free theater tickets. So the stakes could not be higher for Vice President Kamala Harris. And she has made it clear she wants someone with whom she has chemistry, someone whom she likes, and someone who likes her. Bottom line, she has to quickly find the perfect mate from a trio of men she barely knows. How does she ensure there will be real chemistry? The only way is by using the same process that has led to as many as 17 successful marriages over the last 10 years. Speed dating. When it comes to love and romance, speed dating experts recommend just one or two questions. And as we all know, experts on cable news and internet have not been wrong about anything in decades. They're the ones who guaranteed Hillary could win, that King Charles would forgive Harry and Meghan, and that Donald Trump was the most fit and stable person ever. He is! However, given the serious nature of choosing a Veep nominee, any vetting team worth its salt would come up with 5 essential questions. And we at the Daily Beast have managed to get a hold of the 5 actual questions Harris asked the three finalists. Question 1. Do you support the Federal Reserve reducing the interest rate by a quarter point if the unemployment rate hits 5? Asking this question is a no-brainer, as clearly the ticket needs to be aligned on economic policy. Question 2. Have you ever had sex with a couch? Not a trick question. Old white male sex couch sex voting block. True or false? The axis of evil is Iran, North Korea, and childless cat ladies. Nice. Question 4. Are you weird? This is a hard question because there are different levels of weird. There is good weird that describes the kid in high school computer class who never had a date and ended up running a billionaire Silicon Valley startup, and now all the women who turned him down are looking at their unemployed husbands sitting up there in their boxer shorts watching the Olympics and booing countries that end in the word "stan" and saying to themselves, would an all-female jury convict me? And then there's other type of weird, and we all know that when we see it. Question 5. What had more impact, the breakup of the Soviet Union or the breakup of Hall & Oates? I don't get that one. Anyway, that's just some a parody, a funny article. Basically, she's asking speed dating questions to find her vice president candidate. You perfectly encapsulated all the ways their use of weird has completely backfired. Thank you, J. Kim. I never want to sound like a Democrat. I'm removing weird from my vocabulary. Thank you. Yes, please do. I saw the memes before the actual story. Yeah, I opened up my phone and it was just all these weird memes. This is weird. JD Vance is weird. What isn't this weird? And I was like, what do they mean weird? What's going on here? Then I come to find out that's the new thing. So that was just some parody. I thought it was funny. Now let's move on to the VP thing. Since we were talking about the VP just now. This is from KTLA 5. Did the mayor of Philadelphia accidentally announce Kamala Harris running mate? So basically, this lady right here, posted a tweet. She said, proud to be back with so many leaders from across our region supporting Kamala Harris for president and Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania, for VP. So, and Josh Shapiro is one of the 3 guys on the list. So, I don't think the 3 on the list are in this article. But apparently this Philadelphia lady said that Josh Shapiro was going to win it. I don't know if she's right, though, because there's 3 potential candidates. Let me see. As of Saturday morning, Harris has not selected a running mate. Shapiro is believed to be in the running for VP along with multiple other Democrat leaders, including Andy Beshear of Kentucky governor, Illinois governor, J.B. Pritzker, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. Oh, my God. That guy's horrible. We used to have a viewer from Minnesota, and he would post stuff about Tim Walz. Minnesota is a mess. And Tim Walz he's a weird guy. Stop. Don't say that. He's a short little, stubby little, obnoxious twit. See, this is vocabulary. Let's explain the way we feel instead of just saying weird. Not are you back home? You think Kamala understands that first question? Get the yeah, exactly. Right. A representative. Okay. Anyway, so we got 3 or 4 options. They're saying it looks like it's gonna be Josh Shapiro. Once she picks somebody, we'll look into him a little more. Currently, I don't really care. They're all old white guys. You know, it's to balance it out. You have a young, off-color, not-so-white lady, then you have to have an old white guy. Anyway, what else? What's next? The debate. Kamala versus Trump debate. Kamala versus Trump debate. What's the news on that? What's the news on it? Trump says he's agreed to a Fox debate while Harris sticks with the ABC plan. So it was supposed to be an ABC debate with Joe Biden. Once Joe Biden got switched out, and now on Twitter they're saying that Trump can't do it on ABC because he's currently going through a court case with Stephanopoulos. Is it George Stephanopoulos? So they're saying it would be a conflict of interest because of Stephanopoulos. I don't know if that's true. That's just what people were saying on Twitter. But he was going to do it with Biden on ABC, and now he's backed out of the ABC thing, and he's got a Fox thing going. And all these people on Twitter are like freaking out. They're like, oh, see, he backed out. He's scared to debate Kamala. Well, no, he already debated on a biased network. He debated with fake Tapper on CNN with Joe Biden and basically wiped out Joe's whole career in one debate. And now he wants to go. And also Fox is not like some conservative mecca, like safe place for Trump, you know? So it's really not that much different. But now Trump is trying to get it on the next one on Fox, and Harris will not agree to it. She wants it to be on ABC. This is from CBS News. Republican, and just last week, remember Jalen was like, why don't you ever report on CBS? Well, I do. So here you go. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump says he has agreed to an offer from Fox News to hold a debate with presumptive Democratic nominee Vice President Kamala Harris. Meanwhile, the Harris campaign says it will stick to the original plan for an ABC News debate. In the Post, former President Trump said the purported Fox News debate would be on September 4th. So we have a potential Fox News debate on September 4th. Kamala is scared. I have agreed with Fox News to debate Kamala Harris on Wednesday, September 4th. The debate was previously scheduled against sleepy Joe Biden on ABC, but has been terminated in that Biden will no longer be a participant. And I am in litigation against ABC Network and George Slapadopoulos. It says George Slapadopoulos. Thereby creating a conflict of interest. He said, in his post, Trump said the debate would be held in Pennsylvania at a site in an area to be determined. The moderators of the debate will be Brett Baier and Martha McCallum, and the rules will be similar to the rules. Oh, wait. Excuse me. The moderators of the debate will be Brett Baier and Martha McCallum, and the rules will be similar to the rules of my debate with Sleepy Joe, who has been treated horribly by his party, but with a full arena audience. So this one's going to have a full audience. Nice. They want the applause. Whenever Kamala says something stupid, the whole audience is going to say, weird, 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 weird. And then whenever Trump says something base, the audience is going to roar in approval. They're going to roar in approval. What's up, Mr. Mad? Josh sounds like a gay Trump. Did I get a little gay with it? My bad. I think that's from doing Jalen's voice. Jalen's voice crept into my Trump voice. I need to make a stronger Trump. Much stronger Trump. You know, we don't really like to play games. Stronger Trump. Got it. Note taken. Got it. I did like a soft, kind of feminine Trump. My bad. All right. Donald Trump from BBC. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are at odds over presidential debate. U.S. presidential candidates Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are at odds over their first head-to-head debate, with each in favor of different broadcasters and date. Harris' campaign is pushing for a debate to take place on ABC News on the 10th of September, and a slot previously scheduled for a debate between President Joe Biden and Mr. Trump. But Mr. Trump says the ABC debate has been terminated by Mr. Biden leaving the race and has instead pushed himself and Ms. Harris debate on Fox News on the 4th of September. It's interesting how BBC doesn't mention the conflict of interest It just says that he backed out of it because of Biden leaving. Interesting selective reporting there, BBC. BBC stands for Big Black Cuckold. It sounded like Josh said Galen. I might have. Say it like Chris Barnes. I don't know who that is. I don't know no Chris Barnes. I don't know no Chris Barnes. Harris rejects Trump's idea from VOA News. What is that? VOA News. I don't know. Harris rejects Trump's idea to debate her. So she's backing out on Fox with a live audience. She's scared of the audience. She don't want to do this with no live audience against Trump. Is you crazy? You think I want to debate Trump in front of a live studio audience? Are you crazy? Are you weird? You must be. Hold on. I got to do my Kamala voice. Hold on. It's just basically a scary witch. You want me to do a debate in front of a live audience against Trump? It doesn't sound like Kamala at all. It's just basically a scary witch voice. Is how I do Kamala. It doesn't sound anything like Kamala, but I think it gets the point across. Ingual, not lingual. Ingual. Emergency ingual hernia surgery. Chris Barnes was the original lead singer of Cannibal Corpse. Yeah, that doesn't help me. That doesn't help me better understand who he is at all. I'm going to need more Kamala voice. It hurts my throat.
This discussion
It hurts my throat. I'm not a throat goat like Kamala. She can talk like that because she's had strenuous throat training exercises throughout her whole life. And I, on the other hand, don't. So she's got a stronger throat than I do. She's a throat goat. That's what they call her, is the throat goat. Please don't do that Kamala voice ever again. Have you noticed that the cackle is gone? So I think she has media training people, and I think they all told her, don't laugh. Kamala, nothing is funny ever again. Don't ever laugh again. Because she's not laughing. How do you not know who Cannibal Corpse is? I don't know. I listen to rap, bro. What was I just about to say? What was I just saying? Oh, they told her don't laugh. She doesn't laugh anymore. She doesn't laugh. She's had laughter removed from her campaign. No more laughing, Kamala. Nothing is funny. What Trump needs to do at the debate is he needs to tell a really good joke. If he tells one really good joke, and she'll be like this. She'll be like, and then everybody will be like, the cackle's back. And her media crew will be like, no, Kamala, don't laugh. Speaking of Trump, let's see what he was doing this week with Nabja. You never saw Ace Ventura: Pet Detective? Yeah, I did. Are they the band in the movie?
continues a decades-long tradition during election years of inviting journalists to discuss.
So this is the Nabja Career Fair on ABC live. Trump is on the stage with 3 diversity hires. 3 African-American strong black women. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play the beginning when he roasts this lady. He does not like this lady in the blue right here. Lady in the black doesn't really do much. The lady in the pink, Trump likes her. So, you know, when you have 3 diversity hires, 1 out of 3, basically the ratio here is 1 out of 3 is going to actually do a good job. This girl just sits here. It doesn't say or do anything. This girl is a bitch. And this girl, she's a decent reporter, and Trump likes her. Trump's like, we did an interview the other day, and you're very nice, but you're so far away from me. Why did they... Oh, strong Trump voice, I forgot. Why did they put you so far away? I'd rather you be closer. I don't want to talk to this dumb broad. Harris was A-okay. Let's skip ahead till when Trump comes out on the stage and starts talking. The opening line from this chick in the blue. He doesn't like it.
Thank you.
Now listen how she opens.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir.
Who, this lady? You talking about this lady right here?
People did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they...
Guys, sometimes Trump speaks with a soft voice. Sometimes it's a soft Trump voice. He almost whispers. And then sometimes it's a strong Trump voice. Trump is almost sweating from holding that R in right now. He lets her out. Yeah, he does.
They ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort.
I think she's talking about Fuentes there.
So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that
the audience loves
I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including...
you see? Including, I think you're a very fake news company. Yep, I love the blacks. See, Trump, he doesn't always, he's not always yelling. You have to give it a little bit of softness to it. I might have had a little bit of gayness in my Trump accent because I was doing a Jalen voice right before. I'm sorry, but, sometimes it's more of a whisper. She is making him sound awesome.
Employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. Done so much, and and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it.
Nobody talks about that.
It's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late. Just so we understand, I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love you can
It's a
answer the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered the
black voters should
question.
trust you with another
I have
vote.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such...
Trump, they're black. It's at a black convention. What, do you expect them to be on time? Come on.
A hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris.
Bro, this whole thing is awesome. He destroys this lady, and then I think they're in her earpiece, and they're like, okay, he doesn't like you. Stop talking. So the lady way far away starts talking, and then what people were assuming is that Trump was trying to get them to switch chairs with the ladies because he kept saying, I can't hear you. You're too far away. I can't hear you. You're going to need to move closer. Maybe move this lady over there, and you can move closer. He doesn't say that, but I know, it's so funny. 35 minutes late, can't even be on time. It's almost like stereotypes, you know? They say it's racist to be on time, but they say black people don't show up on time. You proving them right. I damn near had an inguinal hernia. I almost had an inguinal hernia. Let's watch it for a little bit more.
Who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah.
That's not the definition, dumbass. That's what the acronym stands for. He asked you, how do you define it?
Go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition?
DEI.
Yeah, that's not what a definition is, you dumbass.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question,
No,
a
you
very
have to
direct
define
question.
it. Define it for me, if you would.
I just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because
You
she's a
didn't
black
define
woman?
it.
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe
Telling what the acronym stands for is not defining it. What the heck? It is racist to be on time.
a little bit different. So
right back.
I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe
I
that
think
she is
somebody should look into that too when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone.
It's a direct question, sir. Do you
Nasty,
believe that Vice
nasty.
President Kamala Harris is a DEI hire, as some
I
Republicans
really
have
don't
said?
I would, if I was Trump. See, he's got more couth than I do, because I'd be like, I think you're a diversity hire. I think you're probably a diversity hire. I think that the ratio shows that 1 out of 3 diversity hires knows how to do their job correctly. I see 3 of you on the stage. 1 of you is just sitting up here, doesn't say anything the whole time. And then 1 of you does a decent job. 1 of you does a horrible job. Seems about right when you're doing diversity hires. She became a black person. Oh, yeah, she became a black person. She used to be Indian. I don't know when she just suddenly became a black person.
I mean, I really don't know. Could be. There are some, and there are plenty. I know this lady right over there, Harris, is a fantastic person who just interviewed me at length, and we had a great interview, I think, and I heard you got very
she's
good
so
ratings on that.
pissed.
Well, you told me it was the longest one of your life.
Look, the chick in the blue is so pissed right now. She gets flustered and she turns and looks at her, and she's probably in the earpiece. They're like, go to Harris, because he doesn't like you, and this is not going well for us right now. Go to Harris. And the whole time he's just like, I can't hear you. You need to come closer. Why don't you just switch seats with this dumb broad?
So we had a good discussion. Look, I want to talk about why you're here today. I mean, it is not lost on us how divided we are as a country. And as you were coming today, we really got to see that we were divided along the lines of race.
All right, enough of that. Did he already say Kamala became black? Did he say that while I was running out here? Okay, anyway. Enough of that. Harris is trying to hide. Trump identifies as our president. She became black. All right. So that's what Trump did this week. Killing it as usual. Let's move on. Is there going to be an ad on this? Nope. No, but that NBC music is going to be copyrighted. Let's move on. More Olympic coverage. The Olympics in Paris, where they had the demonic opening. We got more craziness going on. Apparently, so let me give a little prerequisite here. We can't know what the truth is anymore because I saw all these memes of this girl on her knees crying, and everybody, all the people on the right on my Facebook were saying, I'm with her, I'm with her, I'm with her. And then in the comments I'm reading, and they're saying, this is a woman who quit in 46 seconds of the first round of a boxing match because she was fighting a man in the Olympics. And so then I said, oh, well, I'm not surprised. It's Paris, for one. It's woke Olympics, for two. Is my mic hot? Is it is it popping when I get loud? Anyway, because it's bumping into the red, but I know the air conditioner's going, so it washes it out a little bit. Pause on her knees. Yeah. So when I started looking into the story and reading about it, everybody was running cover for this story. All the media networks were saying, it's not a man, it's not a man, it's not a man. It's just a woman who it was born a woman, which now all of a sudden they know what a woman is. That's the big meme that we're doing. Now all of a sudden we know what a woman is. But everybody was saying she was born female, but she has a weird genetic disorder where she has XY chromosomes and a penis, which I would say that weird genetic disorder is called being a man. But so I don't know what the truth is. We can never know what the truth is anymore. Everybody on the right is saying this is a man. Everybody on the left is running cover saying, no, it's actually a woman. She just has, because there are genetic defects and stuff where you can have extra chromosomes and stuff like that. So I don't want to get it in trouble for misinformation. So I'm going to try to cover this fairly. And the way that I'm going to cover it fairly is we're just going to go off of looks. We're just simply going to go off looks because the left says that it's actually a woman with a weird thing that made them have an extra chromosome and a penis. The right is saying definitely, without a doubt. My soundboard's not working. There's a man, baby. My soundboard's not working. What the heck? I hate when it does this. Hold on one second. If I refresh this. All right, it should work now. Still not working. My soundboard's not working, guys. Sorry. But I'll do it for you. There's a man, baby. That's what the right is saying. Boxer who had gender test issues. This is from NBC4 New York. Boxer who had gender test issues wins first Olympic fight in Paris when opponent quits after 46 seconds. Angela Carini refused to shake Imane Khalif's hand. And Imane Khalif after the decision was announced, and she cried in the ring before leaving. Let's watch this. Actually, it's just a bunch of pictures. But anyway, so that happened. And then in the finals, apparently there's another one. There's two of them. So the Olympic finals for boxing for women is going to be two men, allegedly. Allegedly. That's the story we're going with. If we're just going off looks, I agree. I concur. Hey, welcome to Silver membership, Callum McLeod. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for showing up. Dead cells, UBI. You can't tell when someone has that chromosome thing. Yeah, I don't know, but the penis is a dead giveaway. That was absolutely terrible, but way preferable to a soundboard. I've been using the same words as everyone else. Let's see what... I don't even think I need to play this, but we can see some pictures. I don't want to play NBC's audio. Let's see. 2 female boxers were disqualified from the 2023 World Championship after being judged to have failed gender eligibility tests. Were cleared to fight at the Olympic Games in Paris. So they've already... Yeah, that looks like a man. Lin Yu-ting of Taiwan and Amani Khalif of Algeria will both compete in the Olympics. All athletes participating in the boxing tournament at the Olympic Games Paris 2024 will comply with the competition's eligibility and entry regulations, as well as all applicable medical regulations. So there, I don't think there's any audios. Yeah, it's just NBC music. I don't want to play that. Yeah, that's bruh. I got in a fight with a guy at Burger King named this little kid named Elliot. He looked just like this. Lin is a 2-time gold medalist, and Khalif won silver at the 2022 tournament. Silver? Well, maybe it's not a man. This Asian could be a woman based off looks alone, but granted, you can't really tell with an Asian person anyway. A lot of them look like 12-year-old androgynous things. It's all the soy they eat. Soy sauce. Both were removed from their competitions last year at the World Championships run by the International Boxing Association, which has been banished from Olympic boxing since before the Tokyo Games. And, okay, enough of that crap. All right, so we got 2 men. The left is saying that they're actually women with gender issues, chromosome things, I don't know. So if you're a girl who happens to be born with XY chromosomes and a penis, you should probably go into boxing. You know? The only place where you can legally beat up women. What is wrong with the world? The argument is too much testosterone. Right. So I don't know. Just disclaimer. They could potentially actually be women who have this strange too much testosterone. And, you know, if you have a girl that has a lot of testosterone, put her into the ring. I have a close family member with that whole chromosome thing you were describing. You can tell she has a male chromosome or whatever happens. Right. That's why I'm trying to be fair. I don't want to put out disinformation, so I'm trying to be fair and cover both sides. They're saying that it's not actually a man, that it is a woman with a penis. I'm just kidding. I don't think they have a penis. Or that's what they're telling us, is that they don't have a penis. She had children and everything, gave birth, not masculine at all. No. Oh, the girl in your family or the boxer? Okay. All right. So, to be fair, could be a woman, but I don't know. And here's the Karina lady or the other lady crying. You know, I wouldn't recommend, if a man beats you up, don't get on your knees in front of him, because we know what comes next. Pause. That was a nice pause. I didn't mean to do that, but that's a good what comes next. Okay. Anyway, let's see what NPR has to say about it. Look at that. That is a man, baby. I don't know. And this one is Asian, so you can't really tell. Women's boxing is at the center of the latest Olympics controversy as critics take issue with the participation of 2 athletes, Amani Khalif and Lin Yu-ting, who have failed gender eligibility tests in the past. I don't know. Both Khalif and Lin identify and have long competed as women, but were disqualified from the 2023 Women's World Championships by the International Boxing Association for what it called failure to meet eligibility rules. Olympic organizers are defending their right to compete in Paris. I bet you they're not taking estrogen. If they're taking any sort of PEDs, they're probably not taking estrogen. Olympic organizers are defending their right to compete in Paris and questioning the validity of those unspecified tests and the fairness of their previous disqualification, which they said happened without due process. The current aggression against these two athletes is based entirely on this arbitrary decision. I mean, there's a way you can figure it out. There is a way, which was taken without any proper procedure, especially considering that these athletes have been competing in top-level competition for many years. So to be fair, they say that they're actually women. So I just want to put that out there. I don't spread misinformation. The left is the side of weirdness and stupidity. On the right, we need to be fair. We need to look at things from every angle. You got to check the angle of the dangle. That's how you figure out if it's a man or a woman. He got booby implant. But was she? Oh my God, William. Okay. I didn't lie. At first, I wasn't even going to cover that story, because I didn't know what was misinformation. I still don't know what's real and what's fake. But once there was two of them, I was like, oh, this can't be a coincidence. And it's France, where they just did Drag Queen Last Supper. So, I'm leaning towards those are men, baby. But they say that it's not true. Don't forget to turn on live chat, y'all. In other news, this story is confirmed. Let's watch this video.
At Paris Olympics 2024.
From Indian Express News. I think my channel gets like banned in Russia when I play these videos, but let's watch what the Indian Express News has to say about this story. This story is confirmed. We're not really 100% sure that those are men. This story is true, though.
At Paris Olympics 2024, beach volleyball debutant Stephen Fontevelde faced a turbulent reception. The convicted
I can't understand what this person's saying.
Child rapist who served a
controversial child rapist is in the Paris Olympics playing with balls. He's at the Paris Olympics playing with balls, and he's a child rapist.
4-year prison sentence in 2016.
Wow, he went to prison for 4 years. That's why he got so good at volleyball. They usually have a volleyball net in the prison in the yard. He was out on the yard playing volleyball with a bunch of rough, tough, and rowdy men. She said, turbulent reception. Here see the turbulent reception at the Olympics.
Girl took to the court amid a mix of boos and cheers. Fontevelde, who
I can't understand anything this chick is saying, by the way, guys. I don't know. I don't speak this gibberish. What, you didn't hear about this one, Nada? Yeah. There's a child rapist who served 4 years in prison on the men's volleyball team at the Olympics.
Along with his partner, Matthew Immers, is ranked 10th in the world, was defeated 2-1 by Italy's Alex Aranghieri and Adrian Carambulla, who hold the 25th spot. The pair's entrance was met with a mixture of applause and jeers from the crowd. Before the match, Fontevelde was individually introduced.
Looks like he has a penis tattooed on his arm. It's an 8-ball that says lucky. It looks like there's a penis coming out of it. I'm just saying.
And once again, the response was a blend of applause and boos. All players exchanged handshakes before and after the match.
I wouldn't shake his hand.
An online petition calling for his
You don't touch that hand. You don't know where that hand's been.
removal from the Olympic Games garnered 90,000 signatures before his first match. The inclusion of Fontevelde on the Dutch team has been criticized by various women's and safeguarding groups. He's not staying.
Let's not get back into that, CISO. Let's not go back to that again.
In the Olympic Village and has opted out of post-match media engagements. Additional security was present upon his arrival in Paris. So how was he allowed to participate?
Because it's Paris. Either way, whether it was biologically an adult or biologically a child, he broke the laws of his country and he was convicted for raping a minor. This is, when we're having that conversation, this is the word that should be used as a minor, because that's a legal term. If we're talking biologically and our definitions are being used consistently, it's different. But it's a minor, which means he broke the laws of his country, and he should be punished for that because we have laws for a reason. But yes, he was convicted of raping a minor. Let's see. 13 months in prison after... No, it was a 12-year-old, CSAL. It was not a 16-year-old. Facing intense backlash. Van de Velde, who served 13 months in prison. They said 4 years in the video, but I think he actually went to prison twice. Let me just read the article. He served 13 months in prison after being convicted of raping a 12-year-old girl in England in 2016. Has sparked widespread outrage. Despite calls for his ban, the International Olympic Committee allowed him to compete, leading to significant public and media scrutiny. He gained notoriety due to his 2016 conviction of raping a 12-year-old girl in England, served 13 months in prison. Fans thought he should be banned. The crowd was overwhelmingly negative towards him. He got booed. During his second match, they were met with intense jeering, especially when he made a play. The reception was harsher compared to their first match, which received a mix of boos and cheers. For the second match, they all were booing. The International Olympic Committee has stated that it cannot prevent the Netherlands from sending an athlete who is qualified through the usual channels, despite the athlete's criminal past. This position has fueled the debate on whether individuals with criminal convictions should be allowed to compete in high-profile events like the Olympics. His teammates said, "I cannot do anything about his past anymore. I'm here to play with him." Whoa! Well, you might want to use different words, buddy. Two guys, one of them is a child rapist, playing with balls together. Not a good look. Not a good look. So that's that. That's that. That's the weirdness in the Olympics. The Olympics are getting weird, guys. We got Netherlands facts. Wait, graping? I thought it was consensual. No, it was grape of a 12-year-old. So I think we can all agree probably shouldn't be playing in the Olympics. Probably shouldn't be allowed to associate with human beings ever again. Yeah, that is effed up. Yes, that is effed up. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going across the pond. I guess it's not across the pond from France, or is it across? It's across the channel from France. We're going over to the UK. We're going over to the UK. We got tensions in the UK. It's super weird, yeah. Tensions in the UK. We got riots, all sorts of problems in the UK because of stabbing death of 3 children at a Taylor Swift concert. Taylor Swift concert, a Rwandan anchor baby. They say he's not an immigrant because he was born in England, but he's Rwandan. And he stabbed up 3 kids at a Taylor Swift concert. I think he stabbed more than 3. We're about to find out and read the articles. 3 of them died. Now, this comes after 8 days ago. What was this guy's name? Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson was on Louder with Crowder. He had a great interview. This guy's very passionate. I like this guy, Tommy Robinson. He has a documentary that he just released not too long ago, which is on X, where the documentary is all about all of these refugees, these Syrian refugees, and like all these refugees that they basically have open borders over there in the Queensland, and they're bringing in all these refugees. A lot of them of a certain religious persuasion, you know. You think you're gonna block Seesaw? And lots of people are getting stabbed up. Now, Henry Robinson made a whole documentary about this, and he organized a protest 8 days ago. 8 days ago, and they call him an alt-right, far-right reporter, this Henry Robbins guy, and he organized a protest with a bunch of what the media calls alt-right, evil, racist, right-wing people, blah, blah, blah. Really, it's just British people who love their country, and they're tired of seeing it being invaded, and nobody is safe from getting raped and stabbed up by the roving grooming gangs that are going around. That this has been talked about for years. Katie Hobbs, what's her name, Seesaw? I always forget this lady's name because she got banned. She's like the most banned woman. Katie Hobbs. She got banned everywhere for talking about this, about the grooming gangs and Muslim grooming gangs. And I shouldn't even be saying that on YouTube, but luckily I'm in America where we have some semblance of freedom of speech still. They can't talk about this stuff in England. You can get jailed. You can get jailed for talking about this or posting about it. In some areas, they can't even fly the St. George Cross flag, the flag of England, because that's a Christian symbol and it's hate speech to all the Muslims in the area. So this is not new. This is not a new story. Katie Hobbs or Katie Hopkins, she got banned for it. Henry Robbins, now Tommy Robinson, Tommy Robinson is facing 2 years in prison for making a documentary covering this. And I went down this rabbit hole this week, and I was watching all these videos of these school stabbings because they don't have guns over there. So what they do is they just stab people up. And I've said this before. If you have a bunch of armed citizens and someone starts shooting in a mall, remember the guy that was shooting in the mall and that guy like popped him like 9 times from like 300 feet away, like perfect, like accuracy, like God came over him and just said, every shot is going to hit this guy exactly where it needs to hit him. And basically, they don't have guns in England. And what I've always said is if you have a knife and you're like sneaking through a crowd, you could just be like shanking people up. You could stab up a lot of people before anybody knows what's going on because it's silent. It's silent and it's stealthy. And nobody's going to know who did it. If you're walking through a crowded area, you just be stabbing people. You're going to hear screams, and then everybody's going to start panicking and running around. And while everybody's running around, you're just moving through the crowd, shanking people like we're in damn prison or something. With a gun, as soon as you shoot, everybody knows where you are. You have a well-armed militia, and everybody's just like, nope, he's done. Boom! Good guy with a gun. But no, not in England. In England, you just sneak around through a school, stab up little kids, and nobody knows where you are. You just disappear into the crowd. So this is not a new thing. But Henry Robbins just organized one of the largest protests in England, and people are pissed off about this. And then 6 days later, it happens again at a dang Taylor Swift concert. So, AP is saying online misinformation fueled tensions over the stabbing attack in Britain that killed 3 children. Within hours of a stabbing attack in northwest England that killed 3 young girls and wounded several more children, a false name of a supposed suspect was circulating on social media. Hours after that, violent protesters were clashing with police outside a nearby mosque, the first of several violent protests in and across England. Police say the name was fake, as were rumors that the 17-year-old suspect was an asylum seeker who had recently arrived in Britain. Okay, so it's not true that he was an asylum seeker that had recently arrived, but he was a Rwandan child to Rwandan refugees, essentially a Rwandan anchor baby. The suspect charged with murder and attempted murder was named Thursday as Axel Rudakubana, born in the UK to Rwandan parents. By the time a judge said the teen suspected could be identified, rumors already were rife, and right-wing influencers had pinned the blame on immigrants and Muslims. His name is Rubakubana. Doesn't sound British to me. So, of course, they come out and say it's all misinformation. Maybe some misinformation was coming out. Some of the key actors are probably just generating traffic, possibly for monetization. The misinformation was then spread further by people committed to the UK domestic far right. Governments around the world. See, how about you talk crap about the stabber? Stop talking crap about the British people who are sick of watching their country go down the drain. Since Elon Musk, a self-styled free speech champion, bought X, it has gutted teams that once fought misinformation on the platform and restored. Right. So we're talking about misinformation and the far right instead of talking about the stabber. Thanks, AP. Great reporting. And the author of that article looks like a damn cat lady. She's an overweight, white, short-haired, butch-looking. I'm just saying. Whoa! I don't want to watch The View. But let's look at the suspect. So this is from Mirror. I'm sure they'd say this is a fake news site. 17-year-old accused of murdering 3 children at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Southport once appeared in a BBC Children in Need video dressed as Doctor Who. It has emerged. In the resurfaced clip promoting Children in Need from 2018, an 11-year-old Axel Rudakubana is seen emerging from the TARDIS. I don't watch Doctor Who. I don't know what TARDIS. That's the phone booth that transports you through time, I guess. Wearing a trench coat and a tie. He appears alongside a number of other child actors in the 2018 clip for the promo titled "It's Time to Do Your Thing." Rubakubana encourages viewers to raise money by dressing as every Doctor Who ever. A BBC Children in Need spokesperson told the Mirror that the charity has no relationship to Axel Rubakubana, sent their deepest sympathies to everyone impacted. So they put this kid in a Children in Need video a couple years ago on BBC. Shocker. Our deepest sympathies go out to everyone impacted by the shocking case, and we have removed the video from all of our platforms out of respect to them. The promotional video is understood to have been filmed in Blackpool, and at the time, Rudakubana was on the books of Ologi Kids Casting. So he's a child actor. There he is. He was a child actor in a Children in Need video. Wow, shocker. Let's watch a video about this.
My officers were called to reports of a stabbing at 11:47 this morning in Southport.
What is this, the female police chief? Shocker.
When they arrived, they were shocked to find that multiple people, many of whom were children, had been subjected to a ferocious attack and had suffered serious injuries. It is understood that the children were attending a Taylor Swift event at a dance school when the offender, armed with a knife, walked into the premises and started to attack inside the children. We believe that the adults who were injured were bravely trying to protect the children who were being attacked. As a mum...
Well, maybe if they had guns, they could have stopped him before he stabbed up a ton of kids.
And a nana, I can't begin to imagine the pain and suffering that the families of the victims are going through at this moment in time.
I called the police.
Yeah.
But there's many people on the phone at that point because it was like a bomb had gone off.
He's blacking the ace of
girls'
spades.
bodies all over the place.
He's blacking in the ace of spades. Rwandan.
One of my colleagues that works with me, James.
He's born to Rwandan parent. He's a Rwandan anchor baby. But yeah, it's not an open borders issue. It's not a refugees coming from all over the world issue, right? So this incident has led to riots all over the UK. Social unrest. Lots of riots going on. Let's watch this article from NBC. Look at how the headline: far right riots erupt in UK in the wake of child murders. You know, if there's a reason to riot, maybe it's the fact that children are being murdered. How about that? Far right anti-immigration demonstrations stoked by conspiracy theories and AI generated images spread on social media spilled over into violence in cities across the nation. See, you can't even tell what's real and fake anymore. But often, like, there are trusted reporters who I trust who say the truth about this stuff. And then all of the left-wing media runs coverage and says, no, that's not true. That's not true. That boxer doesn't have a penis. And I tend to not trust. You can't trust either side, really, of the media, as we'll talk about later with the Mockingbird media, Operation Mockingbird. And it's still going on today. RFK said it's still going on today. So you can't really trust anything. But, you know, my intuition tells me that this is not a new thing, that there is an immigration problem over there, and there is Muslim grooming gangs and stabbings and Syrian refugees just stabbing people up in schools. And this is a well-known thing. They'll deny it. If you talk to anybody from across the pond, they'll deny it. We've heard it on the show. We've heard it with people on the show. They'll deny it. And say, well, it's just some areas. It's just some areas. Bro, your country isn't that big. You know, like in America, we could say it's just some areas. It's LA, it's Detroit, it's Chicago, it's New York. But America is huge. England, if there's 3 cities where they're doing that, that's the whole freaking country, pretty much. You know, that's where everybody's at. Yeah, I'm sure it's not happening on the countryside when there's one house every 6 miles. Yeah, duh. But if all the major cities it's happening, that's the whole freaking country. Let's see what they're talking about on MSDNC.
It's a total disgrace, and there has to be a reckoning. Those individuals who are involved in the disorder need to know that they will pay a price. There have already been...
You're more worried about the people who are rioting because they're sick of this crap than you are about the... Whatever.
Hundreds of arrests, and we have made very clear to the police they have our full support. People who speak for Britain are the people who've been out in our communities clearing up the damage that's been done across the communities. Simply cannot stand for this. So we should be clear. There will be people who were thinking they were going on their summer holidays this week, and instead they will face a knock on the door from the police. They will face arrest and a prison cell, a police cell, while they wait for trial in order to make sure that they do pay the price for what they have done.
Wow. So when you're sick of your country being invaded and you try to stand up against the politicians who are making it happen, you know, same thing in America. But BLM can riot and kill people and burn buildings down and all these things, no arrests. But you go to the Capitol to try to stop a tyrannical government from fraudulently stealing an election, you're going to prison and you're never going to get a court date. You're just going to rot in prison. While the feds who helped incite it don't get in any trouble. How come Ray Epps was never arrested? Anyway, I'm getting off track, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. These patriots over there in England, I respect these people. They're sick of watching their country be destroyed. They're gonna go in prison. Look, on Saturday, groups in Leeds waving St. George cross flags, England's national flag, regularly flown by far-right groups. England's national flag regularly flown by far-right groups. This is the same shit that happened in America. They started saying the American flag is a racist symbol. If you fly an American flag, you're a racist. We played clips of all these left people saying, yeah, if they have an American flag, they're probably a white supremacist. Same thing in England. If you fly a St. George cross, they say England's national flag regularly flown by far-right groups. It's your national flag. I told you, I just said the St. George cross, the flag, is a hate symbol because it has a cross on it. You can't do that when in Londistan. You can't do that in Londistan. Shouting Muslims off our streets, pairing it with a slur suggesting they were criminal child abusers. Yeah, because they are. In the city of Hull, rioters threw bottles and smashed, and I'm not saying all Muslims. I know there's some very nice Muslims. I'm currently reading the Quran. It's a very angry religious text. It's very angry. It does talk about fight. You know, it has a very angry, dark undertone to it as I'm reading it. But there are some nice Muslims. There are some cool Muslims. I'm not saying all of them, but these ones who are immigrating into white countries and stabbing and raping people in gangs, no. There's also very radical terrorist cells from Muslim, and I'm sure there's crazy evil Christians out there too. I'd say they're not real Christians, but you know what I'm saying. Like, so it's not all Muslims are like this, but there is a problem here. Just like not all black people are gangbangers or Crips and Bloods who are just going to shoot you and steal your purse, you know. But some of them are. A lot of them are. And it's a problem. A disproportionate amount of them are. That's my number. Don't put your phone number. Oh. Motherfuckers fly flags all over, every flag all over the USA. Right. But if you have an American flag, you're a racist. What started as targeted anti-immigration demonstrations quickly descended into directionless disorder. A library in Liverpool reopened in 23 as an education to employee service for people of all abilities was set ablaze. People of all abilities? No, it's more like to help probably illegal immigrants. Well, I guess it's legal over there. One police officer in the city was hit in the head with a chair. Another kicked and knocked off his motorcycle. Police force responsible for the region. Well, because they're not doing their jobs. They're attacking white nationalist protesters instead of stopping the stabbing rape gangs. This is crazy. Let's watch another video.
Violent disorder swept across several British cities on Saturday.
This is
injuring
from
police and damaging property.
This is from The Star. I don't know about The Star, but let's watch some riot porn.
Following the murder of 3 young girls in northwest England, riots involving hundreds of anti-immigration protesters have erupted in towns and cities after false information spread rapidly on social media that the suspect in Monday's knife attack at a children's dance class in Southport was a radical Muslim migrant.
There are many more of us than you. There are many.
Police said the suspect, 17-year-old Axel Rudakubana, was born in Britain, but protests by anti-immigration
and also, I don't even know if that's true. I don't even know if I believe they say he was born in Britain. Rudakubana, does that sound like an English name to you? Did he look English to you? I don't know. He didn't look very English to me. Rudakubana. So we can't tell. We don't know what's real and what's fake. Refugees welcome. Smash fascism and racism. We need a little fascism all over the world right about now.
And anti-Muslim demonstrators have continued, descending into violence, arson, and looting.
Here we are in the city centre. People smashing things up.
Violent disorder erupted in Liverpool, Bristol, Hull, and Belfast.
Bristol, Liverpool, Hull, and Belfast. That's the whole country. There are many more of us than you. What was the chant? There are many more of us than you. Well, not for long. They call it Londistan, so.
Cities located in different corners of the UK. Many police officers suffered injuries as they tried to keep several hundred rival protesters, largely young men, from clashing. In Liverpool, 2 officers were in hospital with suspected facial fractures, while another was pushed from his motorbike and assaulted. Similar scenes were also witnessed in the southwestern city of Bristol.
This is wild. And it's still going on. And this is from like 2 days ago. It's still going on.
Police said in Belfast, some businesses reported damage to property, while at least one was...
Look at that. Wow. So we have these guys flying England's national flag, which is a racist hate symbol, right? Because it has a cross on it. Dude, they're trying... I put conservative ads on. Usually I do balanced ads. I put conservative ads, meaning less ads. And they're trying to run an ad. I'm skipping all the ads for you guys. But they're trying to run an ad like every 30 seconds. And then they're going to demonetize my video. But YouTube is still going to run a buttload of freaking ads. I don't know how to turn them off completely. But my super chats don't work. YouTube is just reaming me. They're just reaming me. I can't get super chats. Try to see if the super chat thing works. Because I did a new... Anyway, this is going to get demonetized, so hit up the Cash App if you want to monetarily support the channel. That's why it's on the screen. It's on the screen because YouTube screws me every way from Sunday. They'll run 50 ads for you guys, and then I won't be monetized, but YouTube will still make money for running the ads. And you can't do super chats. So that's why the Cash App is on the screen.
Said in Belfast, some businesses reported damage to property, while at least one was set on fire. Across Britain,
it still doesn't work.
Police have arrested dozens of individuals for offenses ranging from violent disorder to burglary and...
Don't say that word. Which word? Reaming? Don't say reaming. I like that word. Reaming me. You ever had your hip wasted?
Criminal damage. Extra police have been deployed across cities, while mosques across the country have been advised to strengthen security following an attack on a mosque in Southport on Tuesday.
Wow, this is crazy. The whole world is going insane. Let's watch some more riot videos.
Anti-immigration rioters attack a hotel in Rotherham as the violence grows and the Prime Minister calls out far-right thuggery.
Thuggery. Far-right thuggery. We're not going to watch that. We watched enough of that. But I do want to talk about the Tommy Robinson thing. Now, this happened like 6 days before.
Thousands of people have taken part in it.
This is from Sky News. I love Sky News. Sky News is based. Australia is falling too. Australia is currently ran by China. China. All of the Western world is being taken over by this nonsense. It's happening in Australia. It's happening in England. France is already a degenerate hellhole. It's happening in America, Canada, everywhere. The West is falling. But it's okay, guys. We can all move to Hungary. You know, we can move to Hungary. I can get a white wife, move to Hungary, and we get a minivan and $1,000 if we have a baby. So let's do it. Who's down? Sorry, Floor.
A far-right protest in central London this afternoon, led by activist Tommy Robinson. There's also been an anti-racist counter-protest nearby. Well, Sky's Martin Brunt joins me now.
Now, remember, this happened a week before the stabbing. And this is because Tommy Robinson put out a documentary, and he's facing 2 years in prison for this documentary for defamation, because he reported on a boy who stabbed up a bunch of his classmates who was a Syrian refugee. And they're saying Tommy Robinson could go to prison for 2 years for defamation. Tommy Robinson already served 4 years in prison for similar events. He's a journalist, and they say he's a far-right racist. So he could go to prison for making a documentary about what's happening there. And they'll just deny it. They'll deny it's happening.
Martin, we've had these two rallies in London, not sort of, it was made sure that they wouldn't meet necessarily, but how have things gone so far?
Well, Tommy Robinson, the far-right activist, had been urging his supporters for weeks to turn out today. He said it would be the biggest day of his life and of theirs, and a lot of people did respond. Something like 9 or 10,000 of his.
And according to him, it was a mostly peaceful protest. According to Tommy Robinson's interview on Louder with Crowder earlier in the week, very good interview. He said they were doing vigils, they were singing songs, and it was all nice until the Palestinian anti-protesters showed up.
Supporters marched through central London, a short march to Trafalgar Square. He said that this would be a day when the world would finally listen to their voice. Their main chant was one of, "We want our country back."
Nice.
It was largely peaceful. It's not over yet, but the police feel that...
it was a mostly peaceful protest.
Things have gone without any huge incident. There were, amongst his group of supporters, though, some very offensive anti-Muslim chants. During the afternoon, we did speak to some of his supporters.
I actually had most of my... The government that's installed are not acting in the best interest of the people. They're not even listening to what the people want. So I want to know what can be done about that, because it seems like you can't vote your way out of it.
They're trying to run another ad right now.
They just operate under the same agenda, it feels like. So the people don't have a voice. So I feel like this is the best chance that people have at having a voice, is coming to a gathering like this. But I'm still not really seeing what can be done about it. No one's talking about that. You know? I've already seen this film. I want to know what can be done. That's why I'm here.
Today's protest is about everyone's dissatisfaction with how we're being governed.
So I might, in the after party, I might try to find this documentary on X, and maybe we can watch it. But it's banned everywhere. I'd probably get taken down. I don't know. But we'll try to play it afterwards. Afterwards, in the after party, we're gonna do a little. We're gonna play a little bit of Phil Henry, and then we're gonna try to find this documentary.
To be honest, people are just fed up with not having a voice. I know there's a lot of people say that this is a racist thing and all that kind of thing, but I don't see that. I just see ordinary people who are just fed up and don't seem to have a voice.
There was a
all right. So we're running overtime here. We're running over our time. So, and then here's a PDF, not the slang term PDF, but this is a House of Commons library. This is a PDF on British stabbing attack. Look at this katana. They had a dang katana. So, introduction, offenses related to knife crime, sentencing for knife crime, police recorded crime data, trends over time, homicide, knife crimes by police force area, knife crime in London. This is a summary of reports on all the knife crime happening in Great Britain. And look at the numbers. They went down a little bit in 2012, 2014, then it starts going up, 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 up. Comes down a little bit during COVID. That's to be expected. People are locked down and not really going out. For a year, it drops. This is COVID, this drop right here. And then it starts going back up, 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 up. 2022, 2023. I'm sure by 2024, we will be back at our highest level, which was in 2018 and 2019. So homicide offenses, these are selected offenses involving a knife or sharp instrument. Year ending March, England and Wales, including Greater Manchester. And from year ending in March 2020, excluding Devon and Cornwall. Thousands. This is by the thousands. So this is at the peak before COVID, 54,000 stabbings. And what's the population of England? Population of UK. 66 million. 54,000 stabbings a year at the peak out of 66 million. So if we combined all these numbers, 36, 9, 12, 15, there's a million right there. I mean, just in 12 years, this is like 4 million, it is like 3 million people stabbed in 12 years in a population of 66 million. So in a 12-year period, 3 million people were stabbed out of 66 million. That is 66 divided by 3. I can't do math. I can't math. 22. Is that 22%? No. 2.2%. So 2 out of every 100 people get stabbed. Something like that. You have to double check my math, but it's a lot. That's what the point is. It's a lot. You have a very high chance of getting stabbed up if you live in England for 12 years. Threats to kill, 21%. Selective event, 90 percentage change category. Grape. The next chart shows the percentage increase in the threats to kill category of offenses since 2019 was the highest, increasing by 22% over the period. The category that saw the largest percentage decrease over the period was robbery, falling by 18%. This data excludes Greater Manchester and Devon and Cornwall. So all these numbers, not good. And these are other homicides, is the light green. The dark green is knives. So a little less than half are all knife incidents. So like, yeah, in these light green areas, this is probably like countryside. But these dark green areas are the cities. This isn't a huge swath of land. And they don't have data for this little peninsula here, which is Devon and Cornwall. Urban forces tend to record higher levels of crime involving knives more than rural ones. Duh. Of course. So, knife crime by London Borough. Anyway, so just some statistics there for you. And that's all I got to say about that. Pretty crazy, huh? Crazy stuff. No, don't run another ad. Stop it. They voted for that by voting for the Labor Party, so they're getting what they asked for. Exactly. You get what you deserve. You get the politicians you deserve, and can't blame anybody but yourself. But I'm sure their elections are free and fair and totally legit, just like everywhere else in the world, right? All right. Enough of that depressing mess. Everything is weird. The whole world is weird. But you know what's not weird? You know what's weird is when my freaking when my soundboard doesn't work. I don't like when my soundboard doesn't work during the memes. We need sound effects. I don't know why it's not working. How do I refresh this? Let's try something real quick. We're gonna task manager this. We're gonna close voice mod. We're gonna open it again. See if we can get this soundboard to work before you know what time it is. Oh yeah, it's coming, producer. It's coming. Hold on. So let me see if I can get my soundboard working. Oh, it's time for the memes. Hold on, what the heck? Okay. I have 2 of them open now. All right. It's time for the memes. JD Vance is weird. JD Vance is weird. JD Vance is weird. Oh, we got Transformers flashing on the White House lawn. Oh, we got Joe Biden talking to Dylan Mulvaney. We got this bald weird guy and this person here, kind of weird. This person looking like a transgender Jesus. We got Broccoli Head with Rachel Levine holding a trans flag. Oh, look at this. This is kind of weird. Isn't this kind of weird, guys? Don't you think this is kind of weird here? Puppy play with somebody who's in the White House. Oh, somebody's flashing we got a transformer flashing the camera. I think that's kind of weird. Isn't that kind of weird? Huh.
It's a man, baby.
Beta. Next. POV, you're watching the Olympics women's boxing match. Poor Vidal getting beaten by Sapopovic. Dang.
It's a man, baby.
Oh, Vidal. Vidal got smashed by Sapopovic. He was a Majin. Anyway, next. Avengers Assemble. This is the air gun shooting competition at the Olympics. Look at them, looking like the Avengers out here. We got Hawkeye. We got Deadpool. Or who's the Mortal Kombat character with the katanas? Kenji? Is it Kenji? This looks like Kenji. Why are they allowed to wear like telescopes on their eyes? But then this guy's a boss. He's from Turkey. I think he won. And he's just wearing regular glasses. Meanwhile, this guy's got like extra support for his arm. They're all got like telescopes. Remember we talked about how closing one eye isn't necessarily a good idea, but for some people they like to do it. Some people have one eye when they shoot. Right, Stubborn One? But I guess these people close one eye. Some of them. He doesn't. And he won. So what does that tell you? It tells you these people that are wearing these freaking telescopic lenses and eye blockers because they can't close their eye apparently. Did a little better. Huh. That's interesting. Next. From pee pads to knee pads. Oh, God. Pee pads to knee pads. Trump 2024. Kamala eats corn the long way. Damn. Trump 2024.
Beta.
We have a lot of Kamala memes this week, guys. Lots of Kamala memes. Next. Kamala, why do you always unplug everything when you come to visit me? It says, poor Trump. Oh, Kamala, she murdered a guy. Next. The first VP that is female, black, Indian, and retarded. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Next. Both have taken shots to the face. Trump and Kamala. What the?
Beta.
Next. Taco Bell, I visited the border. Next. We have a lot of memes, so we're going to burn through these. Political lookalikes. It's the Joker and it's Kamala. Next. Matt Walsh says, congrats on being the first woman vice president. Thanks, Matt. What is a woman? Next. Word of the day, Nissan. Kamala burned her Nissan the carpet when she started in politics. Next. Hey, liberals, Trump just identified as a black woman. Now you don't need to vote for Kamala Harris anymore. Dang. Next. Biden will never get my guns. I keep them upstairs. Oh! Got him. Got him. Watch out for those stairs, Biden. White dudes for Harris. Oh my God. It's the ambiguously gay duo. Beta. Next. This dude just beat up a woman and punched her in the face on live TV in front of millions of people. Bro. Seriously?
It's a man, baby.
Seriously? Come on. Come on now. Seriously? Come on. Come on. Next. Mostly peaceful memes. Why would you pay money to watch an Algerian man beat up European women at the Olympics when you could just walk around Paris and see that for free? Or England. Beta. Dang. Next. Amani Khalif wins first ever gold medal in freestyle domestic violence. Oh no. Freestyle domestic violence. Next. Thanks, Babylon Beat. Tom McDonald says, I'm still blown away that if a dude beats the shit out of a woman in private, it's assault. But if a dude beats the shit out of a woman on TV, it's the Olympics. Next. When I was growing up, punching a woman in the face got you arrested. Now it gets you an Olympic medal. The year 2024, the year male violence against women became an Olympic sport. Paris 2024. Next. Paris 2024, a giant demon against a little woman. What the heck? Oh no. Next. Me avoiding eye contact with the homeless guy asking for money at the intersection. Oh no. That does look like the homeless guy at the intersection. Hold on, what's chat saying? That's Hezbollah. That's Hezbollah. He looks like a little boy, but he's actually a grown-ass man. Kamala's neck don't look like a deflated balloon for nothing. Yeah, she's a throat goat. All those pictures look like a black lady, not Kamala. My ex would be a gold medal winner. Okay. Next! You can only say one sentence before they kick you out. What do you say? One sentence before they kick you out. What do you say to this table full of ladies? I'd probably say, shouldn't one of you be cooking in the kitchen right now? All of your plates are empty. Shouldn't one of you be cooking some dinner? What would you guys say? What would you guys say to this table? Next. Next. Jason Aldean. Try that in a small town. Jason Aldean's arms. Please don't. Jason Aldean. Beta. Next. Guacamole right after you make it. Guacamole by the time your guest arrives. Oh, man, that's funny. That is so true. You got to stir it up, though. It just gets like that on the top. You stir it up, it's all right. Next. Melania doesn't support... So this is Jill talking. Melania doesn't support her man on the campaign trail. And this is beautiful Melania talking. My husband doesn't need me to wipe his ass. Like your husband, Jill. Next. Elon Musk. This should be a requirement. If Argentina can do it, so can America. Argentina hand counted 99.9% of their 27 million paper ballots in less than 6 hours. There's no reason it can't be done. So true. So true. And that's why Argentina got Malay and their inflation is down. Nice. Base, the guy with the chainsaw. Next. Plan A. Plan A is Matthew Thomas Crooks. Plan B is Kamala. Plan C. Plan C is the strange bar graph that takes a skyrocketing 90-degree turn upwards in the middle of the night after vote counting has stopped. Huh. Get ready, guys. Get ready, guys. We're going to be doing a 24-hour election live stream. That way we can watch the corruption happen in front of our eyes. Next. Black dudes for Harris. Whoa. Wait, what the?
It's a man, baby.
Thanks, Michelle. Next. Hey, why do some of the Argentinian Olympians have German last names? Well, there's a story behind that. There's a story behind that. Next. When the side running a candidate that literally nobody voted for accuses me of being a danger to democracy. Yeah, right. Okay, right. Anybody understand that? No? Nobody? Nobody? None of the Democrats have anything to say about that? No? Okay. What's chat saying? Fun fact, while we were distracted by the Trump sniper, China came and bought a bunch of our grain-producing farmland. I'm not surprised. Deduct crack from your guacamole. Add lime juice to your guacamole. Ooh, does that make it not get a... I'd say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I'd tell them, oh, is this to the ladies at the table? I'd tell them that the baby meat they are eating isn't real. No, it's made of bugs. I'd say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. 3, 1, 2, 6, 4, 6. Okay, quit the towers. Towers are played out. It's lame. Next. Me explaining to a bewildered kid in the grocery store that the CIA for the last 40 years has been developing realistic rubber mask technology good enough to fool international security experts, and that's why Biden was 3 inches taller during his most recent public appearance. That's true, actually. There's a documentary about it. I think it's old technology by now, though. Like, I think they have better ways to do it. Like, maybe they just, like, clone him, but give him, like, a better brain or something, and then make him in a vat, and he comes out taller and healthier and smarter. I think the mask technology is kind of played out. It's kind of old. Next. Are you having a stroke? Joe is 4 inches taller than Jill suddenly. Huh. Look at that. Look at that. Suddenly he's much taller than her. That's kind of strange. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Next. Atara's mommy. We no longer go for looks. We go for maturity, stability, loyalty, and peace. Fella in Versace responds, if only you had that mindset before you became a single mom. Got her. Yeah. You figured that one out a little late there, Atara's mommy. Next. Whose dick do I have to suck to be president? Michelle says, me. Dang.
It's a man, baby.
Merry Christmas, Happy Schwanza, Happy Hanukkah.
Damn, Kamala. Next. Oh no, look at this keychain. There's a JFK keychain with a hole right here in the head. And now it's a Trump keychain with the hole right here in the ear. Nice. Nice. I want this keychain set. You put Abraham Lincoln on there too. Next. JD Vance is just weird, says Pete Buttigieg, as he demonstrates his male breastfeeding apparatus for his child that he adopted with his husband.
Beta!
Oh my God. Pete Beta gig. Pete
Beta!
gig. Next. Jesus smoking a cigarette, seeing the Last Supper drag queen with a child Olympic ceremony. Send the asteroid. Send the asteroid right now, Dad. Dad, would you just send the asteroid now? Send the pillar of fire, please. Next. 2 types of shoppers. Full shopping cart, no job. Empty shopping cart, job. Wait till I get my EBT right. This is so true. This is so true. This is like when you have to budget and you have to pay bills and you have to actually buy your groceries. This is what your cart looks like. When you have food stamps and you don't work and you're homeless or you live at the shelter, this is what your cart looks like. Wait till I get my EBT right. Sad. Sad, sad way to live. Sad way to live. Next. Women with a time machine. I am your granddaughter. Really? Men with a time machine. You will never infect the world with your mind virus, Karl Marx. Oh no, there's a pillow going over that baby. So, if you watched Wally and Shiva's debate, when they were talking about the 10 Commandments, Wally got to it eventually, but not till the very end did he get to it. Shiva's whole argument was, well, it started out, God said don't murder, but God murdered a bunch of the Amalekite, the ites that God said murder every man, woman, and child, even the animals, wipe them out, right? So she was like, how could God say don't murder? At first they started off with don't kill, and then Wally correctly addressed that the word used there is not kill, it is murder. And then he said, how could God say don't murder and then command people to murder a bunch of people? Well, here's how. If the lawgiver and the ultimate judge, the all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful God commands you to kill a child, that's not murder. That's not an unjust killing because the justifier commanded it. God is all-seeing. He sees everything. He knows the future. So we could say there's a possible world where God didn't command them to wipe those people off the face of the earth every time that he commanded that. And those people could have rose to power and been a hugely destructive force that would have led ultimately to babies all over the world being killed. So if God, who is the ultimate all-seeing lawgiver, justifies it, then it is just. It's not a murder. It's a justified killing. So you could justify killing somebody and God could justify whatever he wants because he's the moral lawgiver. It's not, then in that case, it's not murder because God knows what's going to happen in the future. So what I would have brought up is this question right here, or the other one you often hear is, if you could go back in time, would you kill baby Hitler? And a lot of people would say, yes, they would, because it would stop, crimes in the future. If we had a time machine and we could go back, or if we could see the future, you might say you're justified in killing a baby at that point because in the future, they're going to do great evil, right? So it's justified. It's like pre-crime. If we could see the future, we could stop crimes happening before they happened. God can see the future. We can't see the future, but God can see the future. So if God commands something and he knows what's going to happen in the future, if they aren't killed, then it is justified for God to command that. So that's still a justified killing. That's not murder. Anyway, just had to explain that. Next. That face you make when you need the African American vote, but your family owned. Also, I would not go back in time and kill Hitler, baby Hitler. I would not go back in time and kill baby Karl Marx, because if we did that, then it could actually lead to bigger problems. There's a reason why God let them live and let that happen. It was a necessary thing that had to happen. It's the only way it could have happened. So even though a lot of people died as a result, we don't know what could have happened if Hitler and Karl Marx died as babies. Maybe it turns out even worse, you know? So what happened had to happen. You can't go back in time and change time. Anyway, let's move on. That face you make when you need the African American vote, but your family owned 120 slaves. Damn. Damn. Would there be another Josh, like, raising him differently? I don't know. I don't believe in time travel. It's not real. It's not possible. Next. The groomers. Olympic groomers. The Olympics this year is brought to you by groomers. Next. This is made by Jim Bob. Mom, can you tell me about British culture? Yes. Let me just grab my burqa. Nice. Let me just grab my burqa to tell you about British culture. Next. After my fourth whiskey, I heard it whisper, now is the time to tell people what you really think. Oh, get ready. Once the Jameson's out, the Gameson's out. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything funny to say there. Next. Survival tip. If you get lost in the woods, just build a shelter. The task collector will be there shortly. Sad. That's a cool shelter, though. Look, he's got a wood stove. Nice. I could build that. Next. They're peeing in the stall. Look at Biden Harris, Joe Biden supporter. He's sitting down in the stand-up peace stall. Wow. Wow.
Beta! It's a man,
No,
baby.
no. That's not a man, baby. That's a
Beta!
Don't take pictures of him while he's on the toilet. Next. A Cuban sandwich in America. A Cuban sandwich in Cuba. Oh, no. Damn. Cuban sandwich is my favorite. Oh, my God. This looks so delicious. Oh, it's making me hungry. Oh, they're so good. In Tampa, they have the best pressed Cubans. I've never had a pressed Cuban anywhere else in the country like the one. Like, if you go somewhere else in America and order a pressed Cuban, it's whack. It's not like a Tampa or a Miami pressed Cuban. Because you know why? Because in Tampa and Miami, there's actual Cuban people with access to American food making the Cubans. It's like, I would love to make this in my... Why am I doing an Indian guy? Hey, man, I would love to make this in Cuba, but we don't actually have food. In America, I make a delicious pressed Cuban. Next. Ladies, it's time to start thinking about if the guy you're dating has post-apocalyptic warlord potential. There's Mel! There's Mel!
It's a man, baby.
Nice. I got post-apocalyptic warlord potential, ladies. Just letting you know. Just keeping it real. Next. Buying groceries is starting to make me wonder what a pine cone tastes like. I've never eaten pine cone, but who knows? Maybe it's good. I don't know. Guys, we have 15 viewers and only 11 likes. Hit that dang like button. What are you doing? Next. Dudes in the 1700s while hitting it from the back. Ew. Ew. You know why? It's because back then they used to wipe with corn cobs. True story. And that, guys, is it for the memes. All right. What do we got in rapid fire news? Rapid fire news. We got a few things to talk about. Utah is doing a book ban. We have some oddities news. We got Storm Debbie, which when I added the article, it was actually Tropical Storm Debbie. I think now it is a hurricane. We'll talk about that. Let me open my folder. Put this over here. Let's open this. Let's go full screen here. But first, before we get to and then we're going to talk about Israel, Hamas, and Iran updates. A lot of new updates, a lot of stuff going on over there. We'll talk about that at the end of rapid fire. We don't have a lot of rapid fire, so remind you to hit the like button. Thank you, Lord Spike. All right, this reel says, when all the voices in your head start singing at once, at the same time.
Girl, I can't feel nothing when we're alone. Push it down, push it down, I'm like one tank of vibes, looking out, ringing by the bird. I feel it.
Yo, this is a British singing contest. She must be a dang immigrant. This is awesome.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2,
2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. Driving back to life, let's go.
Damn. She's actually hitting that note right there kind of good. That actually sounds kind of good, but the rest.
First up, hi girl. About to do it.
Oh, get out of here, Mr. Beast. We don't want to see your crap. I unsubscribed. Next. This one's pretty funny. This is wholesome. This is a wholesome one. He's sniffing. Oh, wait. He just sniffed his ear. This is kind of wholesome. Look at this baby. Someone that sings worse than you?
What? See? Nosy, bro.
He looks like one of the Hodge twins.
Mind your business.
Look at this baby.
You mind your business? Excuse you? Can I help you?
He's doing the Joe Biden. Oh. Imagine if Joe Biden tried to sniff this kid's head. It wouldn't work. This kid would catch him. He's trying not to laugh so hard. The kid ain't having it. That kid ain't having it.
About to do it.
Shut up, Mr. Beast. I don't want to. Now we got another music one. You ready? That one friend who never knows the lyrics. Okay, you ready for this? Hold on. This is awesome.
I don't tell her without juice, topping this out my life. I don't tell her but truly, I don't even know if you go without it beginning. I don't tell her without juice, topping this out my lifestyle. I don't tell her but truly, I don't even know if you go without it beginning.
That's the same way I sing that song, to be honest. I don't know what it's that Young Thug, or I don't know what he's saying either. It's mumble rap. So actually, that kind of is how the song goes. He's actually got it down pat pretty good. What you sniffing at, Willis? Little babies do smell good, though. I know, and that's the Democrats' life force. That's what that smell is. Joe Biden loves it. All right. Let's get to some rapid fire news. So, Utah, some local news for Utah. Based, Utah. 13 books removed from all public school libraries in Utah. Libraries in Tooele High School on March 20th, 2023. 13 books will be taken off the shelves of every public school library in the state after the Utah State Board of Education ordered their removal. So, and in Salt Lake City, I'm sure they're going to complain about it. But here's some of the books. A lot of books by Ellen Hopkins. Tilt and Fallout by Ellen Hopkins. Oryx and Crank by Margaret Atwood. Blankets from Craig Thomas. Milk and Honey from Rupi Kaur. Forever from Judy Blume. What Girls Are Made Of from Alana K. Arnold. Sure, there's a lot of good stuff in some of these books if you're a perv. But I was interested in this. Sarah J. Maas. So I was like, A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Frost and Starlight, A Court of Silver and Flames, Wings and Ruin, Empire of Storms. So I was like, what are these books? So I looked into it, and I guess it's like a woman's take on Game of Thrones, but it's aimed at young teenage girls. And this is the author. When I read about it, it says these books are harmful for teenagers because it's basically medieval smut. It's smut porn. It's porn aimed at preteen girls. And these, I've been seeing ads for these books pop up all over my feeds and stuff. These are like very popular books. It's like a teenage girl's Game of Thrones. Or like Twilight, or like what would have been Harry Potter when I was a kid, or Twilight. But it's marketed towards kids, for preteen and teenage young girls. And apparently it's a bunch of smut. It's a bunch of dirty porn. Dirty, nasty porn. And I was reading about it, there's like guys who are doing stuff with underage girls, and it's just a bunch of nasty garbage. So, shout out Utah for banning this lady. Never trust a redhead, by the way. Never trust a redhead. Shout out Utah for banning this lady's pornographic books and taking it out of the school libraries. I appreciate it, Utah. Thank you. Utah's based. What else we got? Some oddity news. Reddit user kicked out of wedding reception for ordering pizza when the bride's family devours the buffet. Let's watch this.
Ever wanted to be a ninja with a gun?
No. Why would I be a ninja with a gun? This is not related to the article. Stop. Go back. This is not related to the article. So, a Reddit user who was kicked out of a wedding after he ordered pizza when the reception ran out of food should have been more discreet and behaved himself better, an etiquette expert told Fox News Digital, although the story does have a happy ending. Aida ordered pizza at my... Aida... A-I... What is A-I-T-A? For ordering pizza at my friend's wedding because there was no food? In the post, the man said he and his wife recently attended a friend's wedding, which had 70 guests, mostly family. When we got there, we were seated at a table with some other people, nice people, and we mingled. We had a good time chatting. The wedding was quite nice. After the wedding ceremony, tables were all given 2 bottles of wine, bread, and butter. The bar was open. Then the food came out. It looked really good. I was half buzzed and looking forward to getting some food in my belly. When dinner began, the tables were called up to the buffet a few at a time. The first few tables that were called were understandably the family of both sides. And I guess the family ate the whole buffet, so this guy ordered pizza, and he got kicked out of the wedding. That's it for that story. Stupid story, but it's kind of funny. Dog, here's another oddity story. Dog lost in Las Vegas for nearly 10 years. Dog lost in Las Vegas nearly 10 years ago is found, and he's in rough shape. Yeah, you get lost in Vegas for 10 years, you're going to be in rough shape too. He's probably in the damn tunnels with the rat people. Later, it's a lata. It's a popular bean name. I thought they took the books out of all libraries. Maybe they did. Do you think they did it all over the country? Have you heard of those books, Amanda? A Las Vegas woman is rejoicing that her dog is safely back home nearly a decade after he first disappeared. Judith Monarez, 37, was 28 years old when her 2-year-old Chihuahua named Gizmo slipped out of her backyard on February 3rd of 2015. A Facebook page set up to find the dog said that someone spotted Gizmo being put into a reddish car, but after that, he was simply nowhere to be found. That is until 2024, when Monarez received an email that she had been waiting for all these years. Someone had found Gizmo. The dog had been found in Henderson, Nevada. Look at this dog. And dropped off at an emergency veterinarian's office. How do you know? I would guess if it's chipped. But how do you even know it's the same dog? And also, yeah, it's 10 years old now, and it's been lost in Vegas for 10 years. Of course, it's going to look rough. Oh, at the vet, the microchip was scanned, and the microchip alerted Monarez that her precious pup had been found. He was dropped off by a woman at an emergency center in Henderson. They told us the woman said they had been trying to catch him for months, but he was severely matted and his nails were overgrown and curled. At the time, Gizmo was having trouble standing and walking. Yeah, he was probably high or drunk. He's been in the tunnels of Vegas with the rat people for 10 years. So that's cool. All right, shout out Gizmo. Gizmo found his way home. Got to party in Vegas for 10 years. Awesome. Awesome. All right, enough oddities. Enough oddities. Let's do a little weather. Weather from USA Today. What was tropical storm yesterday, Debbie, strengthens to a Category 1 hurricane and moves closer to Florida's Big Bend. Tallahassee, Florida. Debbie strengthened into a hurricane late Sunday, moving closer to Florida's Big Bend and potentially bringing the threat of life-threatening storm surge. The threat of life-threatening storm surge. That's bad writing. And rain totals that could reach 30 inches in parts of southeast by weeks. It's a Category 1, bro. Chill out. It's Florida. You think Florida's scared of a Category 1? Debbie, which formed Saturday and became the 4th named storm of the season, strengthened into a Category 1 hurricane. The National Hurricane Center announced late Sunday. The storm is located about 100 miles west-northwest of Tampa, Florida, with a maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. Tampa never gets hit by hurricanes. They always my family and stuff, they're always like, oh, thank God it missed us. Thank God it missed us. Bro, you've lived there your whole life, and they always miss you. It could have something to do with the wind currents and the pressure systems in the Gulf of Mexico. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's not like God's not pushing the hurricane out of the way to save Tampa. It has to do with the currents and the pressure systems. That's why the hurricanes always miss Tampa. They'll either hit the panhandle, or they'll go off to like Louisiana, or they're going to come around the East Coast and they're going to slide up into like New York and all that stuff. They don't hit Tampa. And it's not because God loves Tampa. It's just because of the way the wind pressure is and the air pressure and the temperatures and the currents and all these things that it always misses Tampa. I'm sure, sometimes they'll graze Tampa or sometimes they'll hit, but it's rare. Usually when they're like, Tampa, that's coming right at us. Bro, it's going to veer. It's going to veer. Plus, people in Tampa are crazy. They're not scared of a hurricane. They're going to go surfing. You know what the cool thing is when the storm surge happens and it sucks all the water back, you can go out there with a metal detector and you can walk around and get all the stuff the tourists lose in the ocean or in the Gulf. You can get a metal detector and walk around during the pre-storm surge when the water sucks back. You can go way out there deep into the ocean and find a bunch of stuff. It's pretty cool. Tampa was hit last year. No, I'm pretty sure it missed Tampa. I know what your storm you're talking about. We covered it on the show, and it the brunt of it did not hit Tampa. It dodged Tampa like they always do. I'm from there. It's tattooed on my arm. I think I know what I'm talking about, producer. Maybe it was, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. And no, they were expecting it to be, yeah, my brother lives in Tampa and he sent me the videos and it was supposed to be some huge storm that hits Tampa and it barely did anything to Tampa. I played videos on the, what do you mean? I covered it live. I did a live stream with my brother in Tampa and he's like, bro, it's nothing. It's lame. He's like, there's nothing happening here. I said, go outside and get us some video of the storm. He said, there is no storm. It's like nothing. And then Ben sent me video, and he lives on the bay in Tampa in a tall house. And he sent me video, and it was like some wind. So I think I know. Since we covered it live, and I had video, and I was on a live stream with my brothers who were there. No, it didn't. Near miss. Right. Okay. All right. So you were wrong. I was right, as usual. As usual. All right. Yeah, I did a live stream during that hurricane. But I was sick that day. All right. This story's kind of sad, but it's also kind of crazy. From CNN, a 5-year-old was killed and a second child injured after a bounce house goes airborne during a Maryland baseball game. 5-year-old boy died and another child was injured when a bounce house they were inside went airborne during a baseball game in Maryland on Friday night. The bounce house flew onto the playing field at Regent Furniture Stadium in Waldorf as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs baseball team was playing. So, and this is a baseball field, which is surrounded by stands. I guess maybe there was a bounce house outside of the stadium. This thing flew up into the stadium during the game, and there were 2 kids playing in it. One was injured, and one of them sadly passed, a 5-year-old. That's sad. But it's crazy. A group of children were inside the bounce house when a gust of wind sent it flying approximately 20 feet into the air. The children who were inside fell before the bounce house landed on the field, according to the news release. On-site medical responders immediately tended to the children. 5-year-old boy was taken to the local children's hospital, was later pronounced dead, and another child sustained life-threatening injuries and was flown out to the hospital. Our thoughts and prayers are with the affected. We extend our deepest sympathy. That's crazy. So, new fear unlocked. New fear unlocked. Children in a bounce house. If there's any sort of wind warnings, don't put your kids in a bounce house. Where's Dane the Balloon Man? Where's Dane the Balloon Man? He owes me $100. And he does bounce houses. He operates bounce houses. He needs to see this story. Make sure you tie those things down. And that there's no windstorms coming by. And also, you owe me $100, buddy. Because DeSantis didn't get elected. Looks like DeSantis isn't going to get elected. Where's my $100? Pay out your bet. Anyway. Next, he said he would pay on January 20th, after the election. So technically, he doesn't have to pay until or January 6th or January 20th, whenever they do the confirmation. So he's good right now. Me and Daddy Jub got into an argument about the metric system versus standard. Yeah, that was during the hurricane stream. Yep. Well, me and him got it because he's pro metric system, which is communist. That's for commies. Yep. I've seen those slides of bounce houses catching air in real life. So this is a thing? Bro. I'm going to find some videos in the after party because new fear unlocked. Escalators and bounce houses. Don't even play around with them. Okay. All All right, last but not least for rapid fire. We have a lot of Iran, Israel stuff. So earlier in the week, a Hamas leader was taken out. Iran claims Hamas leader was killed by short-range projectile, contradicting reports it was a hidden bomb. So from Axios, we have this story from August 1st that says, planted bomb, remote control, and AI. How the Mossad killed Hamas leader in Iran. The Israeli Mossad assassinated Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh by detonating an explosive device planted in advance in his bedroom at the Iranian government official residence in Tehran. Two sources with knowledge of the issue confirmed to Axios. The fact that the Mossad managed to plant the explosive device in a high-security facility shows not only the deep penetration of Israeli intelligence services inside Iran, but also the vulnerabilities of Iranian intelligence and security apparatus. But from CNN, 2 days later, Iran claims Hamas leader was killed by short-range projectile, contradicting reports it was a hidden bomb. So originally we were told that this was a hidden bomb in his house. 2 days later, Iran contradicts those reports and says it was actually a short-range projectile. Iran has claimed that the assassination of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran earlier this week was carried out by a short-range projectile in a severe explosion outside a guest house where he was staying. This contradicts information told to CNN on Thursday, after a source familiar with the matter said that Haniyeh was killed by an explosive device that had been covertly hidden inside the guest house. The death of Hamas leader further heightened tensions to an already volatile time, raising fears that Israeli conflict with Hamas and its ally could develop into a multi-front, full-fledged war in the Middle East. Like they haven't been at war for the last 100,000 years. The Iranian government, Hamas, say that Israel carried out the assassination. Israel neither confirmed nor denied its involvement. On Saturday, Iran warned that blood vengeance for the killing was certain. So, look at that house. That was a big-ass house, though. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed in a statement that the short-range projectile that reportedly killed Haniyeh had a warhead of about 7 kilograms based on investigations and research conducted. A warhead. So it was a nuke. It was a nuke, and it damaged a little piece of the house. I told you guys nukes were fake. The action was planned and executed by the Zionist regime with the support of criminal American government. Israel will decisively receive the response to this crime, which is severe punishment that will come at an appropriate time, place, and manner. So this is the first. We had the reports that it was a suitcase bomb planted in his house by Mossad intelligence. The third, we have Iran refuting that and saying it was a projectile missile. And then, as of, I think, yesterday.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host.
So the fourth, yesterday, we have this story, and I'll be right back.
Carla Hara. Let's continue on with some international headlines as we detail the growing tensions in the Middle East. I'd like to put up this tweet right now. Barack Ravid saying, "Scoop, Blinken told G7 Iran and Hezbollah could attack Israel in the next 24 hours. As we continue to cover this, there are fears that the Iranian attack on Israel could expand the scope of the war. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan is in Tel Aviv with the latest.
Washington is fortifying its military footprint here in the Middle East. National Security Council spokesperson.
Yo, I don't know what she's talking about, but damn. What's your name here, girl? What's your name here, girl? She's beautiful.
John Kirby spoke about the specific need today on Fox News Sunday.
Look, when the Supreme Leader says he's going to avenge, we have to take that seriously. Now,
I thought this was a video of them bombing. Oh, here it is.
Leader, Iran has promised revenge, and Hezbollah's leader has promised a new phase of the
I'm playing this because the retaliation has begun.
fighting.
Let's see the Iron Dome. Iron Dome in
At
action.
the same time, continued cross-border attacks. The Israeli military says it took out a launcher in Lebanon after this played out last night. The IDF says Hezbollah fired about 30 projectiles into northern Israel overnight. And new fighting taking place in Gaza. Hamas says that Israeli...
Bro, that bucket of water is not going to put that fire out. Come on.
Strikes in the last day killed as many as 18 people, and dozens more are wounded after attacks on a hospital and an old school.
Yeah, a little nuke. It was a baby nuke.
But both of which the IDF claims were being used to make weapons. At the same time, long lines forming at airports as foreign nationals from countries.
Oh my God. I can't focus on anything she's saying right now. Why is she talking?
Countries like the UK, US, and France are being told to leave the country as soon as possible. In Tel Aviv, Israel, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Okay, you have a live shooting situation in the cafeteria.
Alice Hogan. Is she related to Hulk Hogan? I wonder if she's related to Hulk Hogan. What up, Alex? I don't like that you have a dude's name, but we could get over that. We could deal with that, you know. I could overlook it. Deep penetration. Bow chicka wow wow. All right, that's it for all the news. That's all the news we got. Let's do we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. I just threw this together last night. We're just going to talk about some government manipulation of the public. You know, we'll watch some little documentaries, some videos on YouTube. Project Mockingbird and Operation Mockingbird, which are actually two different things, and I didn't even realize that. So we're going to start with Operation Mockingbird, and I'm just going to read a little bit from Wikipedia, and then we'll watch some videos on YouTube. Operation Mockingbird is an alleged large-scale program of the United States Central Intelligence Agency that began in the early years of the Cold War and attempted to manipulate domestic American news media organizations for propaganda purposes. According to author Deborah David, Operation Mockingbird recruited leading American journalists into a propaganda network and influenced the operations of front groups. CIA support of front groups was exposed when in April of 1967, Rampart's article reported that a National Student Association received funding from the CIA. In 1975, Church Committee congressional investigations revealed agency connections with journalists and civic groups. In 1973, a document referred to as the Family Jewels was published by the CIA containing references to Project Mockingbird, which was the name of an operation in 1963 which wiretapped two journalists who had published articles based on classified material. The document does not contain references to Operation Mockingbird. So we're reading about Operation Mockingbird right now, and then we'll read about Project Mockingbird next. In the early years after the Cold War, so this was all to stop commies. They're trying to stop commies from coming to America. But it ended up leading to much worse things. Kind of like the Patriot Act was designed to tap everything in order to stop terrorists coming from the Muslim countries. And then they once they have that power, they'll use this foreign threat as a way to get their foot in the door. And then once they have that power, then they can surveil everybody. They have ultimate surveillance power. They can listen in on every conversation you have. They can tap into your cameras, your closed circuit TV, all that stuff. So, in the early years after the Cold War, efforts were made by the United States government to use mass media to influence public opinion internationally. After the United States Senate Watergate Committee in 1973 uncovered domestic surveillance abuses directed by the executive branch of the United States government, and the New York Times in 1974 published an article by Seymour Hersh claiming the CIA had violated its charter by spying on anti-war activists. Former CIA officials and some lawmakers called for a congressional inquiry that became known as the Church Committee. Published in 1976, the committee's report confirmed some earlier stories that charged that the CIA had cultivated relationships with private institutions, including the press. Without identifying individuals by name, the Church Committee stated that it found 50 journalists who had official but secret relationships with the CIA. And this was everything from the Washington Post, New York Times, all the media networks were involved in this. In a 1977 Rolling Stone magazine article, the CIA and the media, reporter Carl Bernstein expanded upon the Church Committee's report and wrote that more than 400 U.S. press members had secretly carried out assignments for the CIA, including the New York Times publisher Arthur Hayes Schultzberger. His name sounds Schultzberger. Communist and political analyst Stuart Alsop and Time magazine. Bernstein noted the way Schultzberger, interesting, in which overseas branches of major U.S. news agencies had for many years served as the eyes and ears of Operation Mockingbird, which functioned to disseminate CIA propaganda through domestic U.S. media. Davis wrote in Catherine the Great, her 1979 unauthorized biography of Katharine Graham, owner of the Washington Post, that the CIA ran an Operation Mockingbird during this time, writing that the Prague-based International Organization of Journalists, or the IOJ, received money from Moscow and controlled reporters on every major newspaper in Europe, disseminating stories that promoted the communist cause, and that Frank Weissner, director of the Office of Policy Coordination, a covert operations unit created in 1948 by the United States National Security Council, had created Operation Mockingbird in response to the IOJ, recruiting Phil Graham from the Washington Post to run the project within the industry. According to Davis, by the early 1950s, Weissner's owned respected members of the New York Times, Newsweek, CBS, and other communications vehicles. Davis wrote that after Cord Meyer joined the CIA, in 1951, he became Operation Mockingbird's principal operative. In The Rising Clamor, the American Press, the Central Intelligence Agency, and the Cold War, David P. Hadley wrote that the continued lack of specific details provided by the Church Committee and Bernstein's expose proved a breeding ground for some outlandish claims regarding CIA in the press. He mentioned that Davis provided no information on her sources for her 1979 biography of Katharine Graham, and that the Church Committee and other investigations that followed it did not reveal an operation as described by Davis. According to Hadley, Mockingbird, as described by Davis, has remained a stubbornly persistent theory. It's been declassified, and it's still happening today. RFK said that in his interview with Lex Friedman. I was going to play that, but I don't think I can play Lex's stuff. And added the Davis Mockingbird theory that the CIA operated a deliberate and systematic program of widespread manipulation of the U.S. media does not appear to be grounded in reality. Bullshit, it's declassified. But that should not disguise the active role of the CIA playing an influence in domestic press output. So that's Operation Mockingbird. And we have the declassified documents right here. So Select Committee on Intelligence, United States Senate. This is 1996, Wednesday, July 17, 1996. So, Select Committee of Intelligence. We have the list of names here. Hearing held in Washington, D.C. The statement, the supplemental materials and letters. Select Committee met pursuant to notice in 10 and 9 a.m. We regret the necessity to reschedule. We'll now proceed with the hearing on what public policy ought to be with respect with the issue to the use of journalists or clergy or Peace Corps representatives by the CIA. This matter came into prominence earlier this year on a collateral discussion in one of the reports, and then the matter was discussed briefly by the committee with distinguished director. There had been quite a concern expressed by a number of people in the news media. The House of Representatives has since taken vote on the subject as to prohibition of use of journalists and others by CIA. It is a matter of which the committee thinks requires some analysis and determination of public policy, perhaps by the Congress, or at least a consideration of that. So all the documents are here. We're not going to read through all of these, but you can, this is, if you want to take a look at the documents, declassified from the hearing. This is intelligence.senate.gov/site/default/file/hearing/ cause of journal 00 unit PDF. You could just Google Mockingbird, Operation Mockingbird PDF. Okay. And then we'll look at the Ash conformity experiments, which Floor said are loosely related. I don't know if I agree with that based on like the reading I've done. I don't know. Maybe it's in here. I haven't read all of this, and I'm probably not gonna. We'll probably just watch the video. But the idea is that through mass mind control, media manipulation, and public opinion, you can cause people to conform to things that they normally wouldn't. You can make people believe things that just aren't true. So Project Mockingbird relates to Operation Mockingbird. In October 2001, the Miller Center of Public Affairs published transcripts of secretly recorded conversations in the Oval Office during the summer of 1962, in which Kennedy took steps using the CIA to spy on Hanson Baldwin, the national security reporter of the New York Times. Baldwin had angered the president with an article in the July 26, 1962 issue of the New York Times that divulged classified information from a recent national intelligence estimate, including a comparison of the United States and Soviet Union's nuclear arsenals and the Soviets' effort to protect their intercontinental ballistic missile sites. Knowledge of Project Mockingbird was made public in June 2007 when the CIA declassified a 702-page document widely referred to as the Family Jewels, which is what we were just looking at. The document was compiled in response to May 1973 directive. So you could just Google Family Jewels. You can also get it here on Wikipedia. You can take a look at it. In response to May 1973 directive from Director of Central Intelligence James Schlesinger, asking CIA employees to report any past or present activities they thought might be inconsistent with the agency's charter. According to a memo from Director of Security Howard J. Osborne to the Executive Secretary of the CIA Management Committee that summarized the Family Jewels. So here's a little summary here. Project Mockingbird, a telephone intercept activity, was conducted between the 12th of March 1963 and 15th of June 1963 and targeted two Washington-based newsmen who at the time had been publishing news articles based on and frequently quoting classified materials of this agency and others, including top secret and special intelligence. So Operation Mockingbird is the CIA using the media to influence the public. Project Mockingbird is the wiretapping program of the media set up by Kennedy. According to the declassified document, the order for the warrantless wiretaps came from Director of Central Intelligence John McCone, who coordinated with United States Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, United States Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara, and Director of Defense Intelligence Agency Joseph Carroll. The program was run by the Office of Security, headed by Sheffield Edwards, who received their orders from McCone. Other agency personnel included Deputy Director of Central Intelligence Marshall Carter, Executive Director Controlled Lyman Kirkpatrick, General Counsel Laurent Houston, and McCone's Executive Assistant Walter Elder. An international CIA biography of McCone by CIA Chief Historian David Robarg, made public under a FOIA request, identified two reporters as Robert S. Allen and Paul Scott. Their syndicate column, the Allen Scott Report, appeared in as many as 300 papers at the height of its popularity. In 1975, the Rockefeller Commission inquiry examined investigations by CIA's Office of Security, only two more paragraphs, guys, that included electronic surveillance and found two cases in which the telephones of three newsmen were tapped in order to determine their sources of leaked classified information. The commission wrote, the CIA's investigation of newsmen to determine their source of classified information stemmed from pressures from the White House and were partly a result of the FBI's unwillingness to undertake such investigations. The FBI refused to proceed without an advanced opinion that the Justice Department would prosecute if a case were developed. They concluded, The CIA has no authority to investigate newsmen simply because they have published leaked classified information. Well, ask the WikiLeaks guy, which he's actually been released. I can't think of his name right now. And then Snowden, ask Snowden about that. In 2009, Daniel L. Pines, the Assistant General Counsel of Office of General Counsel within the CIA, wrote a law review published in the Indiana Law Journal challenging the assertion that most of the activities described within the family jewels were illegal. Pines wrote that the CIA was permitted to engage in warrantless electronic surveillance within the United States with the Attorney General's approval if the purpose was to collect foreign intelligence, but concluded that Project Mockingbird was likely not legal because the apparent purpose of the surveillance was to determine the source of leaks rather than to obtain foreign intelligence. Pines noted that the Rockefeller Commission agreed with his conclusion. So that's Project Mockingbird and Operation Mockingbird. You'll remember this. So people will
right direction.
People will play this clip a lot when talking about Operation Mockingbird and Project Mockingbird, specifically Operation Mockingbird. And they'll play clips of this on like social media and stuff to demonstrate the Mockingbird media. And then they'll cut it before they get to the fact that this was Sinclair Media, which was ran by Trump at the time. And this was actually an attack Hillary Clinton levied against Trump during that election. So let's watch this.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility.
The news site Deadspin recently produced a mashup video that went viral and unsettled many Americans.
Plaguing our country.
It exposed how America's largest broadcaster forced its local anchors to read an Orwellian script. The Sinclair Broadcasting Group demanded its local anchors recite the same lines, demonizing media and sowing distrust, with warnings like this.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some...
So the argument is that Trump was pushing this to spread the fake news narrative. But it's not actually a narrative. There is fake news. And by doing this through Sinclair, he actually proved the fake news. So he had the fake news repeat the narrative about the fake news, demonstrating that the news is fake. So it's not actually a bad thing that he did this, or he had a hand in this.
Media outlets publish these same fake stories.
Julian
without
Assange,
checking
yeah.
facts first.
What's worse, if you actually watch Sinclair's programming, you'll see they violate almost everything they warn against.
So far, no hearings.
But that was the whole point, was to demonstrate that the news is fake by having all of the news talk about the fake news and repeat a script.
On the big uranium deal.
That's right. That's a Sinclair host promoting the debunked conspiracy theory that Hillary Clinton gave away 20% of America's uranium to Russia.
That could involve kickbacks to the Clinton Foundation.
Oh, and here's another segment alluding to the baseless conspiracy theory that a Democratic staffer was murdered for leaking party emails to WikiLeaks.
There's a theory.
Now, also, the guy making this documentary is probably biased. He's probably a Democrat, so take what he's saying with a grain of salt.
Democratic National Committee.
Because they'll say what's real is fake, and then what's in actuality what's fake to them is real to us. What the media covers up is usually the truth.
Committee emails were given to WikiLeaks by a DNC whistleblower who was later gunned down. Maybe it was him. Maybe it was the Russians.
And what about this warning?
Some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to...
Personal bias? Well, Sinclair actually has an entire syndicated segment that does exactly that. The host is a former Trump media advisor. Local Sinclair stations are forced to broadcast his pieces multiple times a week. Predictably, they almost always defend Trump.
Facts show that our country is fine, and it is heading in the right direction.
And this third one...
So only the Democrats are allowed to use the media to mind control people, I guess. Maybe Trump was just playing their game, and he played it better than them.
Morning from Sinclair.
We are concerned about the troubling trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
Sinclair even dedicated a segment to the existence of a secretive deep state, void of any evidence.
Oh, like there's no deep state. Shut up.
The term President Trump tweeted about earlier this year.
The main source, another former Trump advisor.
So we're kind of going to be debunking this video. It is true that Trump was involved with Sinclair Media and that Sinclair Media did demonstrate the fake news that Trump was talking about. But that some of what he's saying is provably false.
Sebastian Gorka.
Talking at the highest levels of U.S. government.
I like
the
Gorka.
Main facts, a public opinion poll. The only skepticism offered in the 2-minute piece were these 6 seconds.
Some critics call the deep state a conspiracy theory peddled
Gorka destroyed Destiny in a debate, by the way.
by Republicans hoping to undermine the FBI.
Clearly, Sinclair doesn't practice what they preach. Large corporations with partisan agendas should not be broadcasting into 72% of American households under the guise of local news. That's why federal regulators must stop Sinclair's purchase of Tribune Media.
Pay attention to the story here, and maybe at Fox, and maybe on Breitbart, and maybe in the U.S. Senate, but you won't hear it anywhere else. So you know where to look.
Based. I like it, Trump. Good job. Play their game better than them. Now we'll watch this little video on Operation Mockingbird. This is 8 minutes long. We'll play it double time. Not quite double time, but we'll play it in 1.5. We're not going to watch the whole video. We're just going to watch news media. How do you form your opinions? Be selective about what you're exposed to. News and media in the 21st century.
Lovegrove, and in this video I'd like to express some thoughts in relation to Operation Mockingbird and how our opinions and attitudes today are still heavily influenced by the media. This may not be news to some people, but from time to time it's worth reviewing the basics, even if you're familiar with them, and for the benefit of those who've never considered them. Think of it like course correction. If you're a pilot or a sailor, you'll know that keeping on track involves frequent checks of your actual position and subsequent adjustments to your heading in order to correct any deviation or drift.
Okay.
Operation Mockingbird was the name given to an alleged CIA infiltration of the news media in the USA with the intention of manipulating people to such an extent that they could influence the opinions and attitudes of US citizens.
So the other video that I watched last night said that it was actually done to catch communists. There were communist infiltrators in America media, and they were trying to catch the commies.
It is alleged that reports and stories were planted in the media, other reports were altered or pulled on the instruction of the CIA, and that many newspapers and TV stations had CIA agents embedded within them, or civilian staff who were recruited by the CIA to carry out their instructions.
That's been proven.
It is said that Operation or Project Mockingbird ran from the 1950s to the 1970s.
So 2 different things. So this video is not that great already. They're leaving out a lot of facts.
And included attempts to not only influence domestic, but also international opinion about foreign leaders, foreign policy, and the actions of the US government. These were, of course, pre-internet days, so the media consisted of a lot of print media and fewer radio and TV stations than we have today. So this form of manipulation of opinions and ideas must have been a lot easier, with the result that foreign leaders could be demonized, while US foreign and domestic policy could be given popular support. This story alone is a big topic, and it has been researched and covered by authors in various books. So if you want to know more about it, then I suggest you seek them out. Today, in the 21st century, with our access to limitless amounts of news and media, you might think that such activities were no longer possible.
No, it's way more
possible now. But it would seem that these attempts to control what people think continue. They have simply adapted the new technology to suit their...
Right, and now it's even better. Now they're mixing monarch mind control, MK Ultra strategies that they've learned, subliminal messaging, blue light affecting your circadian rhythm, and all these things. All these things add together, and they can basically control what you think. Plus, they have targeted advertising, targeted media. They know how long you look at everything that you scroll through. They know what you like. They know how you think. They have a digital profile made up of you, to where they're getting to where they can do like thought policing and precog crime, like it's dang Minority Report.
Their own ends. We are all familiar with the idea of fake news and conspiracy theories. But how can we ever be sure the news is actually fake, or if the conspiracy theory is in fact true? If we discover that one conspiracy theory is actually true,
then it's not a conspiracy theory. It's just a conspiracy.
Doesn't follow that more or all conspiracy theories are also true. Nor does one piece of fake news that turns out to be real mean that all fake news stories are also real.
Wait, if it's fake news that turns out to be real was never fake news. So see how they use words? Even this video, they're using words to manipulate you. Fake news that turns out to be real. There's no such thing. That doesn't even make sense. It's not fake news. If it's real, it was never fake news.
It could be said that instead of enlightening us, the information age has made us more confused and more easily manipulated.
And dumber.
We are rich in data and knowledge, but poor in wisdom.
Facts.
How do you form your opinions about anybody or anything? We are herd-like beings, preferring the general consensus that...
No, we're not. We're not animals. We should be individuals.
...and being outside the comfort zone and challenging the accepted ideas. People tend to read and listen to the media outlets that tell one side of the story. There is no real impartiality unless you yourself seek it out.
All of the media is biased to one side. What are you talking about?
...out by listening to all sides of the story. And you have to be prepared to admit, from time to time, that you were wrong, and to change your opinion.
Never.
I suspect most people would agree with this, but
I've
few
never
ever
been
actually
wrong.
Practice it. We've seen how the big topics of the past 3
Dress codes are more regulated than guns. Gun reform now. Lock him up.
decades have polarized opinion. The Iraq wars, climate change, Trump, Brexit, etc. Rather than debate the issues, listening to both sides of the argument and countering with well-researched counter-arguments, too many people settle for the echo chamber created by the herd to which they belong. They then hurl abuse to the others, the non-believers, the far left or the far right, whoever they may be. They attack the person, not the point, and if they can't undermine them through allegations of scandal or corruption, they simply no-platform them, refusing to allow them a voice.
Based. You don't get a voice on my platform. All right. Enough of that. Enough of that. So that's Operation Mockingbird, Project Mockingbird.
What an experience.
We're going to read this from rcfp.org. Reporters Committee of Freedom of the Press. CIA Directorate personally intervenes in long-forgotten press wiretapping matter. For more than 15 years, Jim Scott, a retired Navy public relations official and son of columnist Paul J. Scott, has been seeking details on Project Mockingbird, a CIA wiretapping operation. CIA produced some material in 2020, but a sizable chunk of the actual wiretap transcripts are still in the agency's vaults. In response to Scott's request for the rest of the documents, the CIA informed him that the case was closed and the agency's search had been reasonably calculated and adequate. Undaunted, Scott wrote an open letter. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'll just read all of this. Where was I? In March, to CIA Director William J. Burns and Annapolis Capital Gazette, asking that the agency reopen the matter and recommended that the agency appoint CIA Chief Historian David Robarg and his staff to assist in the search. Scott also reached out to the Reporters Committee for Freedom of Press for possible help. We recently learned we may not have to jump in, as Burns himself wrote to Scott saying that he personally would look into the matter. Plaudits are warranted. Indeed, Project Mockingbird is a particularly important episode in what we call leak law, as it was one of the earliest and most intrusive CIA leak hunts in the days before Congress finally put the brakes on domestic surveillance activity by the intelligence community in the 1970s. The actual story behind it is incredible. I think all this is actually in what we just read from from Wikipedia for the most part. The CIA leak hunts are particularly interesting to anyone who follows this stuff because they predated the reforms in the late 1970s that, for lack of a better term, criminalized investigations into the unauthorized disclosure of national defense secrets. Those reforms moved national security leak investigations to the Justice Department, which in the last decade and a half has brought far more criminal cases against journalistic sources than had ever been brought in the rest of the country's history. So, I actually don't think these Ash conformity experiments have anything to do with Project Mockingbird or Operation Mockingbird, as was claimed on my stream and as I've demonstrated before. But it is interesting to see. It is interesting to see this stuff. So this is the Ash conformity experiments. And this just lends to the idea that you can manipulate people, you can mind control people through mass opinion and public perception of an event. If you can basically memory hole people, and if enough people agree, what they said about Hitler was or I think Hitler said it, whoever said this, if you make the lie big enough, it's harder to deny. And more people are likely to believe it and agree with it. So this is the Ash conformity experiment. And the idea is there's one person who knows the experiment, how the experiment works. And then the rest of the people, there's one person that's actually part of the experiment. Everybody else is an actor, and they're going to say things. And then the other person who's part of the experiment is going to start agreeing with them, even though it's obviously wrong. Let's take a look at this old video from 16. The video's from 16 years ago. The Ash conformity experiment is from much farther back. Let's check this out. It's interesting.
The experiment is not a public opinion poll. It examines behavior under the pressure of social forces, as the experiment of Solomon Ash reveals.
The experiment you'll be taking part in today involves the perception of lengths of lines. As you can see here, I have a number of cards, and on each card there are several lines. Your task is a very simple one. You're to look at the line on the left
Pick the
and
number
determine
that
which of the
matches.
3 lines on the right is equal to it in length. All right, we'll proceed in this order. You'll give your answer.
Only one of the people in the group is a real subject, the 5th person with the white t-shirt. The other...
So this guy right here is the subject. All these other, there's 6 people here. 5 of them are actors. And then this guy is the subject. So when the 5 actors, if 3 out of the 5 say the wrong answer, he's going to tend to agree with the other people at the table. It's going to trick his mind into actually thinking what he knows better. Like you could see it. It's obvious the answer is number 1. Looks like the line. But if everybody else says number 2, number 2, number 2, number 2, he's going to go along with the crowd. The crowd is going to influence his thoughts and his perspective of the situation.
Others are Confederates of the experimenter and have been told to give wrong answers on some of the trials. The experiment begins uneventfully as subjects give their judgments.
2, 2, 2, 2, 2.
And for a little while, they do it right. So for a little while, they all get them right. And the guy's like, okay, yeah, these guys are thinking the same way I'm thinking. I thought it was 2. Everybody says 2. But then as the experiment goes on, he sees the line and he thinks, the answer's 3, obviously. But then everybody before him says 1, 1, 1, 1. And then it gets to him and he says, wait, I thought it was 3. But then he ends up changing his thoughts. His brain changes because, you don't want to be the only guy at the table who's wrong. So you say what everybody else before you said.
3. 3. 3. 3.
But on the 3rd trial, something happens.
2.
2.
So the answer is obviously 1, right? 1 is the correct answer, but everybody in the trial is saying 2 now, which is obviously not true. But maybe he starts to think, well, maybe it's an optical illusion. Maybe it is actually 2. Why are they saying 2? Maybe my eyes are messed up. Maybe there's something wrong with me. And he says 2.
Something happens.
2.
2. 2. 2. 2.
The subject denies the evidence of his own eyes and yields to group influence.
Dang. Got him.
What?
I know, Nada. You're the greatest genius of all time. You would never fall for something like this.
Found subjects went along with the group on 37% of the critical trials. But he found through interviews that they went along with the group for different reasons.
1. They must be right. There are 4 of them and 1 of me. 1.
This subject's yielding is based on a distortion of his judgment. He genuinely believes that the group is correct.
Now, I think this is a dramatic reenactment. Because did you hear the background? I think this is a reenactment of the experiment.
Is based on a distortion of his judgment. He genuinely believes that the group is correct.
1. 1. 2. 1.
Oh, see, that guy didn't fall for it. That guy's smart. He didn't fall for the okey doke.
2. 2. 2.
I know they're wrong, but why should I make waves?
2.
In this case,
they went with it that time. This is, I think, a dramatic reenactment.
The subject knows he is right, but goes along to avoid the discomfort of disagreeing with the group. Here, the distortion is at the level of his response.
2. 2. 2. 2.
In the previous experiment, the naive subject stood alone against the group. In this variation, Ash gave the naive subject a partner, here seated in the 3rd position, who also gives the correct response.
1. 1. 2. 1. 2.
With a partner, yielding drops to only 5% of the critical trials compared to 37% without a partner. Although subjects report warmth and good feeling toward the partner, they typically deny that he played a role.
Warmth and good feelings towards your partner? Pause.
In their own independence. The partnership variation shows that much of the power of the group came not merely from its numbers, but from the unanimity of its opposition. When that unanimity is punctured, the group's power is greatly reduced. Sometimes we go along with the group because what they say convinces us they are right. This is called informational conformity. But sometimes we conform because we are apprehensive that the group will disapprove if we are deviant. This is called normative conformity. The strength of the normative factor is shown in another.
Let me play that one more time.
Sometimes we can say they are right. That unanimity is punctured, the group's power is greatly reduced. Sometimes we go along with the group because what they say convinces us they are right. This is called informational conformity.
Informational
conformity?
conformity?
We conform because we are apprehensive that the group will disapprove if we are deviant. This is called normative conformity.
All right, so if the data, if it looks like the group's right based off of the data that you're being shown, as in Operation Mockingbird and Project Mockingbird, that's informational conformity. But if you're just going along with the group to fit in, that's normative conformity.
The strength of the normative factor is shown in another variation carried out by Ash.
And I'd venture to say the normative conformity is more powerful for a lot of people, for at least 37% of people.
In this variation, the subject is told that because he had arrived late, he would have to write his answers. Subjects in this private response experiment are exposed to the same amount of...
Okay, so now the group doesn't know what your answers are going to be. I bet you there's going to be less conformity. Or how could there... He has to write his answers, but they're all going to say their answers, and he's going to write his answers. I bet there's going to be less conformity because he can do it privately. He doesn't have to openly go against the group publicly.
Misleading information as other subjects, but they are immune from any possible criticism by the group.
Right.
1. 1. 1.
And that's why, so that's actually an argument for anonymity on the internet. I'm wondering, I'd like to look more into this and figure out, I'm against internet anonymity. Well, if we're going to assume that internet is the new public platform, which currently it's not, it's private and it's not a public platform, but it is the modern day soapbox for the world, for the town square is the internet. And if that's the case, then we shouldn't be allowed to be anonymous if it's going to be protected by the First Amendment. But if it's private, and it's not considered the town square and we have anonymity, then I guess I'm okay with that. But this is a good argument for internet anonymity because people are going to be more honest when they can be anonymous. But the problem is you're going to get a lot of bots. So it's hard to tell what the truth is.
And this enormously reduces the pressure to conform. Conformity drops by 2/3. Ash's experiment is a classic.
It dropped by 2/3? Yeah, that's what I expected. That would have been my hypothesis as well.
Drops by 2/3. Ash's experiment is a classic. It reveals how people will deny what they see and submit to group pressure. It allows us not only to observe conformity, but to study the conditions that increase or reduce its occurrence.
Okay, we have one more video on the same thing.
The Ash experiment is...
I think that was a dramatic reenactment, and I think this might be the actual...
One of psychology told that he's taking part in a visual perception test. What he doesn't know is that the other participants are actors, and he's the only person taking part in the real test, which is actually about group conformity.
Please begin. The experiment you will be taking part in today involves and indicate which of the 3 lines...
The wrong lines.
That's the same guy, isn't it?
Along with the opinion of the group and gives the wrong answer.
This is another dramatic reenactment with music. I don't like it.
That's 2.
1. Once again.
He's like, what are you, fucking crazy? Are you blind? What are you talking about? It's obviously 2.
Correct answer is 2.
3. 3. 3.
What? He's like, what?
3.
Ah, you conformed, you beta. You conformed.
Beta!
Never conform. Never go along with the hokey doke. All right. It's almost 9:30, guys. I got to wrap this show up. That's it. Just wanted to talk about more mind control stuff. Still standing by my thoughts that the Ash conformity experiment has nothing to do with Operation Mockingbird or Project Mockingbird. But, well, they're related because it's basically mind control and conformity. You can control, if you control the narrative, whoever controls the narrative controls the people. If you can control the narrative, you can make people think what you want. You can make people do what you want. So be careful. Stay on your toes. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes peeled. Pay attention to the world. Don't pay attention to what other people around you are doing and saying. Do your own research. Think for yourself. If everybody on the right is saying that's a man boxing women, and everybody on the left is saying that's actually a woman with a genetic defect and it is really a woman, born a woman, do your own research and come up with your own ideas and look at both sides of the argument and come up with your own thoughts on it. Or just see if they have a penis. I mean, that's really all you got to do. Check the medical records and find out if the person has a penis. but that's that. Guys, it's been real. Hold on. It's been real. It's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. You know what time it is. It's time for the show to end. Hit the like button on your way out. Thank you for hanging out. You can hit up the Cash App if you want to financially support the show. $ Dreaded Conservative on Cash App. PayPal and Venmo are both at jsurbanadventures. But the free way to help out is to make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, and share whenever I go live. Share it out on your Facebook, on your X, your Twitter. Those are the same thing. Instagram, whatever you got. Share it out. Let the world know. Get the word out there. We will be going back live in about 30 minutes, around 10 o'clock. 15 to 30 minutes. I'm going to go walk the dog. Actually, it'll be about 30 minutes because I kind of want to make some hamburger helper. But I probably won't. I'll probably just walk the dog and make some French fries. And I will be back in 20 or 30 minutes. Watch for the thumbnail for the after party. It'll be up soon. We're going to do a little dedication to Phil Henry. We're going to listen to a funny Phil Henry show that I found on YouTube. And we'll try to find that Tommy Robinson documentary and check that stuff out. We'll have the open panel, all that stuff. So I'll see you guys shortly. God bless everybody.